Hey, I know it's early morning here, but what the heck? It's the weekend, and I don't get a drop throughout the week.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Sunday, September 16, 2012. Time for your Gitmo Nation Media Assassination Episode 444.
This is No Agenda.
Populist and proud of it here in the capital of the Drone Star State, Austin, Tejas. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where there is no such thing as populism, I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Craig Buzzkill in the morning. Yeah, what do you mean? It's just not a part of the democratic process. Populism.
It's against the law.
Where did I hear that? It's now starting here in America. People are talking about populism. I heard it this morning and I missed it. I was going to record it, but someone was saying populism, is not a part of the democratic process. Crap. I think it might have been Nancy Pelosi. She was on my Rubenesque darling show, Candy Crowley, whatever. Maybe it was her. I can't remember, but it was crazy. I'm like, really? You can't be. So it's just, if you're opposition, now you're just populist. That's it. Done.
Huh.
It's a new meme. Populism.
I don't know how they came up with this and made it work. Because the public's so stupid, it's possible they just buy anything.
Yeah, hello.
Bad.
Of course. I mean, we
run the X Factor. Did you see Honey Boo Boo last night? She was so cute.
No, but
she was so cute.
All is well,
she
John.
She spit up her whole breakfast on the mom. It was really cute.
2 U.S. Marines are killed in an attack on a NATO base in Afghanistan. U.S. officials report heavily armed insurgents attacked Camp Bastion, a British air base in southern Afghanistan. A number of other troops were wounded. Prince Harry is stationed at the base. British officials say he was there at the time of the attack, but was never in any danger.
Oh, thank goodness. All is well. Prince Harry is okay. Whew.
Apparently he was targeted.
Yeah, you'd hope. Please. So let me make an observation here. And there's a lot of things because, the psychological warfare is out in droves. And it's being played on this.
Flooding the market.
It is. That's right. Flooding the market. Nice. I like that. PsyOps is flooding the market. Here's something that really made me mad. So we have a ambassador and his techno expert and 2 Navy SEALs who are killed in an embassy attack. And what that is, we'll get into later. All of a sudden, we see, well, actually, I think I have a clip of it because it made me so mad to hear this. Here we go. Short clip. Tell you, this made me mad.
The remains of 4 Americans killed at the U.S. consulate in Libya arrive at Andrews Air Force Base today. President Obama and Secretary of State Clinton stood by as the flag-draped caskets were brought off the plane.
So this was something that the press stopped doing. Remember, there was this big agreement. We're no longer going to show flag-draped caskets of our men and women who have been killed in Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, wherever the hell, Pakistan, wherever it is. And
can do.
And now all of a sudden, here we are, flag-draped caskets. This must make every military person and family member really angry. Because it was done, right? It was like, exactly, no can do. Don't go there, no more flag-draped caskets. All of a sudden, now for the intellectuals, or for the, what do you call them?
Elites?
No, there's a word for
intelligentsia?
Yeah, no, when you're part of the State Department, you're a...
douchebags.
Oh, that would be the word, yeah. No.
Douchebag.
No, I don't know if they're douchebag, and it's not nice to call it.
They're not douchebags, but the State Department appears to be.
I can't remember the name. Anyway, so if you're a part of the political... elites.
Establishment.
No, that's not the word.
Jeez, how many words do you need?
Just the one that I can't think of. Then all of a sudden we can do the flag-draped casket, but we've had thousands.
Yeah, thousands.
Of servicemen and women who come back in a box, no pictures. And I'm sorry, that really pissed me off.
Yes, it did.
Yeah. Now, of course, I think we need to slightly revise our view of what has taken place. I think what really happened has now become clear. And
can we do a greeting first?
I'd love to do an In the Morning to you, John C. Dvorak.
Well, give me an In the Morning then.
In the morning, John.
Well, no, I mean in the morning.
You want a real In the Morning?
In the morning. There we go. We don't play that enough.
No, I do.
Well, in the morning to you, Adam Curry. In the morning to all ships at sea, boots on the ground, subs in the water, and all the nights, the No Agenda nights of the No Agenda Roundtable out there listening in.
Yeah. And obviously our human resources all charged up, ready to go in the chat room at noagendastream.com or noagendachat.net. Nice to see all of you. And I say hearty in the morning to all of the populists around the world. Nice to see you all. You're welcome here in our cave. You populist crazies, you. So, have you figured it out what really happened? I'm sure. I mean, it seems like we were just late because we're not,
Well, we're not. Well, no, that's not true at all. You're completely wrong.
Oh, I'm wrong about what?
Well, about being late. In fact, we were a little ahead of the game when it came down to the basic analysis. And I have a clip to prove it.
Okay.
Which, as soon as I hear this, is another example of No Agenda being ahead of the curve as usual.
Okay.
And, of course, I have so many clips as I look at
I have quite a number of clips myself, actually.
But this is the big one.
The analysis. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, ready?
Yeah, hit it.
U.S. authorities, meanwhile, have officially identified the key figure behind the anti-Islam film Innocence of Muslims that sparked the protests. Nakula Baseli Nakula is a 55-year-old Southern California resident with a checkered past involving drug convictions and bank fraud. He was sentenced to nearly 2 years in prison in 2010 for financial crimes and is barred from using the Internet without approval under the terms of his supervised release. He told the Associated Press he's a Coptic Christian. Meanwhile, an actress who participated in the film said actors were deceived about the nature of the video and did not realize it was anti-Islam. Instead, they were given a script entitled Desert Warriors that was purported to be about life in ancient Egypt, but words like Muhammad and other references to Islam were dubbed over their voices after the filming.
Yeah, so we kind of had all that.
We had it. Who else had it?
Nobody. No, we had all of that on Thursday.
Yeah.
And that was just after waking up one day, like that's even before we have our morning coffee. Okay. That's how we roll. But I think we need to revise exactly what happened here just a little bit because it's pretty obvious now that the inside crowd knows exactly who did this, knows exactly what happened. And in fact, I have a wonderful clip here from our friend. You can always count on John McCain to blow the whistle unintentionally. Can always count on him to stumble and give it away. But he knows. I think a lot of the press people know. I know Morning Joe guy. Joe, what's his name? Morning Joe Scarborough. He knows exactly who did this and what happened and why.
All right.
But first, I think we need to just continue. Of course, that has nothing to do with what you saw in the news. I feel like we really have to first talk about some of the psychological warfare because it's just too good. Don Lemon would be one of my favorites when it comes to just propagating. Because, of course, what is the American public being told? What is the world being told that is about this film? Correct?
It's about this film, and the Muslims are crazy people.
So in fact, yeah.
Whoops. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Before you play the Don Lemon thing, can I just reemphasize what we're trying to say here by playing a different clip?
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Difficult week for Hillary.
Hey, by the way, her hair did look fabulous at Andrews Air Force Base. Did you see it?
No. Oh. Well, maybe because this clip I think was taken there.
This has been a difficult week for the State Department and for our country. We've seen the heavy assault on our post in Benghazi that took the lives of those brave men. We've seen rage and violence directed at American embassies over an awful internet video that we had nothing to do with. It is hard for the American people to make sense of that because it is senseless.
Was she doing lyrics from the James Taylor song, I've Seen Fire, I've Seen Rain?
They had a band behind her, but they never cranked it up.
Oh, I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days. It sounded like it. Well, President Obama, along those lines, I'll just mix it up here, John. He came out on his little show, which no one watches. I'm sorry. About 800 people a week watch his weekly address on YouTube.
And we watch it for you so you don't have to.
And here's the salient points he made.
On Friday, I was able to tell their families how much the American people appreciated their service. Without people like them...
Diplomats, that's the word I was looking for. If you're a diplomat, then you get the casket.
America could not...
Yeah, see, we could have gotten that. All right, now listen, because this is important stuff.
...sustain the freedoms we enjoy, the security we demand, and the leadership that the entire world counts on.
So just so you know, we are the leaders of the world. The whole world counts on our leadership.
As we mourn their loss, we must also send a clear and resolute message to the world.
Listen up.
Those who attack our people will find no escape from justice. We will not waver in their pursuit. And we will never allow anyone to shake the resolve of the United States of America.
Now, resolve is a big key word. This is what everyone's using these days.
This tragic attack takes place at a time of turmoil and protest in many different countries.
No, it started after this attack, really, Mr. President.
I've made it clear that the United States has a profound respect for people of all faiths.
Okay.
We stand for religious freedom.
Okay.
And we reject the denigration of any religion.
I found that to be interesting. We reject the denigration of any religion. The denigration. What exactly does that mean? I mean, you can't say your religion is stupid? Is that what that means?
It means any sort of ridicule or criticism that sheds a negative light on the religion.
Sounds that he should go and arrest Bill Maher right away.
Yeah, he should go arrest Bill Maher.
Yeah, and give him his $1 million back. Just a thought.
Including Islam. But there is never any justification for violence. I know the images on our televisions are disturbing. But let us never forget that for every angry mob, there are millions who yearn for the freedom and dignity and hope that our flag represents.
How come they're not on television? I want to see
angry mob.
There's millions for every angry mob.
That's like a permanent quote. For every angry mob, there are millions of people who love us.
I think we have to hear that one again because it was so good. So I've seen the angry mob.
Let's never forget that for every angry...
And by the way, this is wrong. This is not good neuro-linguistic programming. You're not supposed to say never forget. You're supposed to say let us remember. Because this essentially makes you forget what he just said. However, we will not forget. We shall remember this clip.
Justification for violence. I know the images on our televisions are disturbing. But let us never forget that for every angry mob, there are millions who yearn for the freedom and dignity and hope that our flag represents.
What is yearning, by the way? What is it?
Sitting there going, it's just sighing a lot. It involves sighing.
Really?
And then you have to have both hands over your heart and you go,
Give me the definition of yearning.
That's yearning. That is exactly yearning.
Hold on. I love it when we look up these words. I just want to read it verbatim. Yearning. Definition of yearning. Oh, wow, John, you're so close to it. A persistent... hold on. It's load. Hello, page. A intense, overpowering longing, desire, or need, or craving. Wow. Which can also be a hunger, like you're really hungry for it. Okay, good.
That's the cause of America. The ideals that took root in our founding. The opportunity that drew so many to our shores. And the awesome progress that we have promoted all across the globe.
Awesome.
We are Americans.
Osteoporosis? What did he say?
Osteoporosis that has drawn everyone to our shores.
We know that our spirit cannot be broken, and the foundation of our leadership cannot be shaken. And that is the legacy of the 4 Americans we lost.
Yeah, just so you know. Okay, so yeah, it's all very, very important. Now, let us go to just a little bit of the psychological warfare, because of course we have CNN mainly on script, Don Lemon. I mean, if you want a guy who's just a consummate professional and will just read the script and not mess around, you put Don Lemon on the air.
On the Benghazi consulate was the deadliest incident of this sudden blazing fury towards the United States. But look at this. In Lebanon, in Sudan, India, and the Palestinian territories, Tunisia, Yemen, and, of course, Egypt, violence and destruction to embassies, American schools, even fast food restaurants, all of this anger exploding from the Arab world over an amateur hour video clip posted on the internet that the government had nothing to do with it. I want to talk now with Professor Fuad.
It's all about an amateur hour. But Don really cranks it up just a little bit.
Fuad Ajami, excuse me for that, about this. He's a senior fellow at the Stanford University's Hoover Institution, is a former director of Middle East Studies
Bring in the shill.
At Johns Hopkins University. Thank you, Professor, for joining us. Your fascinating opinion piece in the Washington Post is titled, "Why is the Arab World So Easily Offended?"
You should read this piece. Why are those Arabs so easily offended? I mean, this is how deep that guy sounds like.
Sounds like somebody from Connecticut. I just don't understand these people.
Why are they so incredibly offended so easily? But this guy's like a Stanford Research Hoover Institute. I mean, he's got a whole list of credentials.
Yeah, the Hoover Research Drinking Club.
Yeah, thank you. He's like, well, let me just tell you, Don.
So let's hear it. Why is the Arab world so easily offended?
Okay, I don't have to give you the answer because that's just ridiculous. But this is the kind of psychological warfare. Then, of course, and I've never seen this before in my life. I love this. They get the so-called guy who created the film, and they're trying to tie all these loose ends behind him.
The guy the felon?
Did you see the perp walk? Did you see the walk that he did?
No, I missed the perp walk.
He looked like the Invisible Man. You got to Google the picture. He literally had a white scarf wrapped around his head, which you're never allowed to do if they really, really want to go and get you.
This morning, a California man linked to an anti-Muslim film was escorted overnight by sheriff's deputies to an interview with federal officers.
Why?
Because it's part of the script.
Why?
Because
why? What did he do? What did he do that's illegal?
Well, no. Listen carefully.
He's covered. Nakula Nakula willingly went in to be questioned about possible probation violations. The
possible probation violations. You see, that's why. That's
making a movie.
Yeah, he's not. No, he's not allowed to upload it to the internet. He's not allowed to touch the computer.
Why?
Because
what did he do? Was he a computer guy? Was he a computer felon? Did he do some sort of a scam? Was he the guy who sends me all those emails? Did he have a botnet?
Yes, he was banking fraud.
Has anybody told us any of this information? Is he running a botnet? What is he doing that got him banned from the internet? I'm asking you.
Well, my question, I can't answer that, but my question is why, if every single guy they go and pick up for questioning, they never get to wrap their head in a scarf. So he's literally, John. Did
he have cuffs on?
No.
Well, he voluntarily went in
with a scarf on his head.
Well, he voluntarily went in, so they didn't have. It wasn't a perp walk.
They made it look like it. But
what did he do to get banned from the internet?
Bank fraud, online banking fraud. That's what they say.
So he's that good that he can hack a bank, or was he just typing in somebody else's password?
John, I'm sorry I played the clip now. I'm only playing it just to point out that this has nothing to do with what happened.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying that I'm not getting any reporting from the media.
No.
I have to go dig this up myself. I don't have time for this guy.
Well, listen to spokeshole Jay Carney, because I think he is actually the one responsible for coming up with this lame-ass excuse. Because it's not like someone went in and killed the ambassador and used this as an excuse. No, it's the other way around. The ambassador was killed, and then someone had to come up with an excuse to cover up what really happened. I believe spokeshole Carney is the one who came up with this incredibly stupid, flimsy cover.
This is a fairly volatile situation, and it is in response not to United States policy, not to obviously the administration, not to the American people. It is in response to a video, a film that we have judged to be reprehensible and disgusting. That in no way justifies any violent reaction to it. But this is not a case of protests directed at the United States.
And this is the line, Susan.
Okay, so let me. I'm going to stop you because I'm not sure where you're going, but let me throw one thing out there and tell me if you think I'm catching on. So these guys were the ambassador was assassinated for some reason or other. We're going to agree on that. We don't. You may or may not know the reason. You say McCain might have let it slip.
Yep.
And then they dropped this bullcrap excuse about this film. And I think that the way to go is if we could just if somebody out there, we could put together a timeline. Yep. It's like the guy's killed. The film is brought to light.
Yes.
Now.
Yes. Yes.
They push the film into the Middle East, and all hell breaks loose because one guy sees it and says, "Oh, this was an insult to the prophet." And the next thing you know, and now we're having the riots after the fact, which would have never happened. In other words, we would not have had these riots if it wasn't for Carney and this bogus excuse, which says to me either he's an idiot. Actually, it says three things. One, he's an idiot. Two, this was done on purpose to cause problems. Or three, he's an idiot and it was done on purpose.
Okay, shall I give you the timeline? Because I have the timeline.
Okay, hit it.
Okay. So the attack took place, and then the embassy, right, on their website said this is because of this film. And that is what Mitt Romney then responded to without him knowing, because Romney actually blew the play because this was being handed to him. I'll get to that in 1 second. Romney blew it by smirking and, because he was completely in on it. He didn't know that the ambassador was killed. I don't think the killing part was supposed to happen. Here's what went down. And we almost had this a couple of times. What has in fact, on the last episode, I read you the quote from the insider, from the Ulsterman insider, about what Obama said to Netanyahu. He said, "Screw you. We're not going to attack Iran. We're not going to even, come out and really do it. We're not going to put any red lines." Hillary Clinton said, "No red lines. We're not going to do any of that." And this made Netanyahu really, really angry, right? So here is what happened. And this is, I'm really, when I look at the players in this, and I'm going to tell you who's in on the game. I have to
interrupt you after you give me the Netanyahu thing because I have something too.
Okay. So there are a couple of extra players you have to be aware of. First of all, Brent Scowcroft. Does this name ring a bell for you? It might, because he's back from the Bush days. Bush Kissinger, actually. Brent Scowcroft is one of the advisors to the Romney campaign. He was a big intelligence guy. He was with the Kissinger security advisor under Nixon. He also happens to be a senior member of the Church of Latter-day Saints. So he's a Mormon. Now, his buddy is Mike Leavitt. And Leavitt is, he's in charge of the transition team, when Romney wins. And he also is a big Mormon. And these are all like Bush-era neocons who are totally in bed with the Saudis and with the Israelis. And I think what happened here is Netanyahu got so angry that he said, "You know what? I'm going to show you what we can do." And he had the Saudis, or wherever, he called out the attack, Mossad, whoever it was, attack on the embassy to put Obama in his place, and not just put him in his place, but to disrupt his entire, basically an October surprise. It was supposed to, I think we were right, it was probably supposed to be a kidnapping instead of the guy getting killed. And his whole push has been for Romney. They've been friends since they were both at the Boston Consulting Group. In fact, this is unprecedented, the way he has endorsed Mitt Romney. This is from Morning Joe, and I'll get to McCain, who really blows the script wide open.
With Romney, effectively endorsing Romney in the election in August when Romney came to Israel. You can't find a precedent for that. A foreign leader meeting with an opposition party representative leader in the middle of an election. The Romney campaign went back and looked to try to find precedent for it because it was surprising to them that Netanyahu was willing to go that far. In 1992, and I can't remember whether it was Shamir Rabin, who was the Israeli prime minister then, met with Bill Clinton. It was the only rough precedent they could find. But he came to New York and met with Bill Clinton privately in a hotel suite, not in front of cameras and not in the way that Netanyahu welcomed Romney into his home.
Why did Netanyahu do that?
I think Netanyahu does, in fact. I think he wanted to send a very clear message. He wants Mitt Romney to be president.
So does this
Okay, so he wants Mitt Romney to be president because Mitt Romney, as we know, has said consistently, "I'll go bomb Iran. I'm going to go do it. I'm your guy. I'm going to go bomb Iran." So then we had this scheduling conflict. This is where Netanyahu's coming to the UN General Assembly, big fracas. Everyone's, the president has no time for him, so they're not going to meet. Because we know that there's a real tension there. So this is what John McCain starts to bring up in this Morning Joe interview.
It's unacceptable for them to have a nuclear weapon. And so it's a very tense time between the United States and Israel when we need a togetherness more than ever before.
More than ever before, and that certainly was curious, going over to Israel, then coming out and actually talking about what you told Israel not to do.
So now, hear what he's saying. And this is Morning Joe Scarborough prompting McCain, because McCain can't remember what he's supposed to say, that the guys came back from Israel and they said publicly, we're not going to do anything, which of course is a big slap in the face, because you're essentially giving Iran, free rein to do whatever people are claiming they're going to do.
You told them not to attack privately. You come out standing shoulder to shoulder and at least make the Iranians think that we are on one page. If we don't do that, that certainly makes the situation even more dangerous, doesn't it, Senator?
It does. And finally, the Israelis, as the Prime Minister keeps saying, they cannot put their future in the hands completely of the United States of America. And there is this difference of opinion, whether it's capability or actual production of a nuclear weapon. And that needs to be resolved. And again, when the Prime Minister of our dearest friend wants to meet the President of the United States, the schedule should be adjusted, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, you should jump. That's exactly where you should jump. Okay, now here comes the part where McCain blows it. So, again, this is how I'm seeing the script. There's no red line being drawn. Both Obama and Hillary Clinton are saying, whatever, we don't care about you. We'll talk to you after the election. Netanyahu's like, oh yeah, watch this. And just as a little side note, he has it happen on 9/11, which is a big poke in the eye. If you're a 9/11 truther, you might understand that. He calls it, the Saudis may do it, maybe the Mossad does it. And it goes a little bit wrong, unfortunately, for the ambassador. The guy gets killed, and then Romney is supposed to come out and immediately say, hey, this is typical, your foreign policy, your Arab Spring, it didn't work, it's a setback, no change from 4 years ago. Unfortunately, they come up with, Carney or someone says, oh, we've got to cover this up. Let's say it's about the film. Romney then flubs. He stumbles first by smirking, which the media picks up on, because he's an idiot. He can't even follow the simple script. And he doesn't know the guy's dead. And so he looks like an a-hole. And that, of course, has set him back big time. And this is where McCain is in this interview, if you listen very carefully, actually says he flubbed the script.
Much more forceful to do things that you refuse to do. I suspect the same thing's happening to Mitt Romney right now in ways that only you could understand. I do understand you're not going to be critical of the Republican nominee this morning for what he did. But is it safe to say that if John McCain were in that same situation, he may have waited a week?
See, now Scarborough knows what's going on. And if he didn't know from other sources, it's probably Brzezinski's daughter who's sitting right next to him, who knows the entire script. He's saying, hey, this was handed to Romney on a silver platter. How could he screw it up, McCain? You wouldn't have screwed it up, would you?
Or so before bringing this tragedy into the...
Ooh, strategy. He said strategy.
Go play that again. And by the way...
Oh, yeah. This is beautiful.
He is very deliberate with this particular spot, as though this is a scripted too, but this is funny he would say this. Say that. I want to hear that again.
Because he wants to say tragedy, but he stumbles and says this strategy. And then this sets McCain off on the wrong foot too. Listen.
That same situation, he may have waited a week or so before bringing this tragedy into the middle.
Before bringing this strategy. Okay, now strategy. Okay, now McCain is all flustered.
Of a political campaign.
I think what happened, Joe, as I understand it, was the statement was made before the tragedy in Benghazi.
Right.
And it was a weak statement. The embassy retracted it and changed it. But obviously the sequence of events focuses our attention on the tragic loss of 4 Americans. And obviously it did not play out as clearly they had.
As planned, say it.
Played out. Holy crap.
This is, I mean.
That's a great catch. I'm surprised you even watched that show.
Oh, are you kidding me? I've been watching everything all freaking weekend long.
I like the fact that I like the idea that you have Brzezinski's daughter's in there. So she's obviously somebody's clued in, and he says strategy, and he says played out. Yeah, it sounds like the whole thing. Which by the way, I don't think we were wrong. We had the thing kind of figured out just based on the sequence without all these tips.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't think we're wrong. I do. We're not fully aware of this phony baloney
of the
movie
strategy
being used.
of the strategy,
the strategy,
and the
follow-up strategy, because the first strategy fell apart, which was shocking to everybody, and then the second strategy.
So listen,
they still explain it, and it actually. It actually makes it even more. It makes it even more of an explanation of Hillary's being
disdain, her anger. Yes,
really angry because these idiots.
They screwed up everything. They screwed up
these
everything.
Idiots are trying to get Obama out, and which is that part's fine. She may have even been in on the deal because she wants Obama out,
and she's angry that Romney screwed it up. And this is what McCain is saying. Well, hold on a second. I mean, come on. He didn't know what was going to happen, and the events, we didn't know that the guy killed was supposed to be a kidnapping. He doesn't say that. And, so Romney, I mean, you got to give the guy a break. He was just doing the best he could because he, wasn't playing out the way the whole plan was planned to play out as planned. That's what the guy is saying.
You give him a script. You tell him what's going to happen. He expected it to happen. He jumps the gun and goes right into the script. He doesn't know to wait a week.
Exactly.
Because he's ready to go. He's giving the bell rings. You're out there throwing your punches.
Let's just hear that bit again.
Romney should be steamed about this.
He should, because I don't think no one was supposed to be killed. We should have had videos of guys holding knives to their throats and that kind of stuff. That's what we should have had, because it is the exact replay of the Carter script. This is why everyone keeps referring to it. It is, and it's the same guys, John. It's Brent Scowcroft. It's the same guys. They're like, hey, I know I'm old now, but I got an idea. It worked really well. We got rid of that Carter. Let's kidnap somebody in an embassy. It's the same script. Now, I got to listen to McCain say it again.
The embassy retracted it and changed it, but obviously the sequence of events focuses our attention on the tragic loss of 4 Americans, and obviously it did not play out as clearly they had.
Right. See, now he's stumbling, and Joe jumps in to save him because he
was going to say play out as scripted.
As scripted,
you're going to say
exactly.
The guy's he's lost it right there, and Scarborough has to stop it.
Jumps in and saves him.
They had.
Mitt Romney then doubled down, of course, yesterday morning when he did know all of the facts, and even after Secretary Clinton made, I thought, a very good statement. You agree with me there?
Now they're actually discussing, like, hey, Hillary did her job. You agree with me, right? I mean, Hillary actually tried to save everything after Romney blew it. I was watching this just with different eyes, no agenda eyes. And I'm like, oh my God, John, they're out there publicly on television. They all know exactly what happened. And unless you have a little bit of this clue that we're giving you here, we're lifting up the curtain a little bit, you can interpret this so differently. But once you have your eyes open, you're like, wow, these guys are just brazenly, like they're just, having a drink together. You're like, yeah, man. Hillary, you got to admit, Johnny boy, Hillary tried, right? She tried to save it from Romney, this big boob.
In this case, would it be better to just wait a few days before having that kind of press conference?
I mean, seriously here. Should we, is Scarborough, does he want a job writing the scripts or something?
It sounds like he's definitely on the team.
Oh, yeah.
But it's in the heat of the battle, you get all kinds of advice and you get all kinds of second guessing. I'm not prepared to do that, but I would like to point out, and I, believe it or not, I watched you yesterday, quite often in your panel of people. The fact is, the United States in the Middle East is weak. We are seen as withdrawing, and we are paying a price for that weakness, whether it be unraveling in Iraq, the tragedy in Syria, the tensions with Israel, the Afghan situation unraveling. There is a lack of leadership there, and that's what I would be talking about, and I hope that Mitt Romney will be looking at the big picture.
Yeah. Well, so that, of course, is exactly where they have to go now, is say there's, lack of leadership. 4 years ago, it was just as horrible. And now, just because of one stupid film, the whole Arab Spring has been one big scam. And that was the entire plan. But, they're going to have to work very, very hard. And now you see Susan Rice on every single talk show this morning, every single one out there propagating the whole movie theme, etc. I mean, they're bringing out all the heavy hitters. This is fascinating to watch.
This is trying to control. This is damage control. It's all damage control now.
And so, of course,
so Romney blew it. You got the guys dead that shouldn't have been dead, and heaven forbid that somebody figure this out and bust anybody over.
So who is another heavy hitter who wants to be in on the game? A huge heavy hitter is John Bolton. Now, Bolton.
Bolton.
Yeah. So he's already being rumored that he was the former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. They're already talking about if Romney gets in, this guy would be the new Clippity-Clop. He would be the Secretary of State. And so he's now doing the rounds, and he's talking about what happened here. And he is laying it on so thick, and this one cracked me up. Check this out.
Well, I think what we saw there was the risk to Mubarak, and instead of supporting a loyal ally who had upheld the Camp David Accord.
So now he's talking about
that's the meme that's been going around. You've heard it over and over again, which is, he was our buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, and so what Bolton is doing is he's attacking the Obama administration's policies, saying, you screwed it up, you kicked out the wrong guy, you never should have gone with this guy. But the way he does it is awesome.
Well, I think what we saw there was the risk to Mubarak. And instead of supporting a loyal ally who had upheld the Camp David Accord, after vacillating 3 or 4 times in the course of a month, we threw Mubarak over the edge. And he had said for years, if I go, the Muslim Brotherhood's taking over. Oh, no, said the Obama administration. Oh, no, said many people in America. The Google guy is going to emerge in Egypt. He's going to be the new leader. People who tweet will be the new leaders. Do you see them anywhere today? They are off the stage.
And I'll bet you they believe that, too.
The funny thing is Bolton has been working on this pitch.
It's a great pitch.
A couple of years. We've had clips of him before. He's been working. Bolton, if you remember when he first got in as the ambassador of the United Nations, his staff revolted.
He was
saying
horrible.
This guy's the biggest a-hole we've ever worked for. Remember this?
Yeah, of course I do. Yeah,
he was considered the worst guy in the world, and they've been grooming him. Whoever they are have been grooming him. So he's become a really good speaker. He's really tight and concise, and he's got these zingers like the one you just heard.
Yeah.
And he's got him at the ready. He is really a talented singer.
He's good. And here's him on Romney, just to wrap it up, this bit of Bolton, the guy is good.
Well, I think he demonstrated it, and he was jumped on by the White House and the media. The first thing that you do is defend our system of government. You don't apologize for some crank who makes an offensive film. That's just not the way you defend democracy. By dignifying that film as if it were the real cause of this, you simply feed the beliefs of those who think we're a corrupt and declining society. It's not the function of the American government to comment on every exercise of free speech by American citizens. They do that in countries where the armies wear jackboots. They don't do it in this country. Perpetuating the myth that it was the film that was the problem rather than the radical ideology of the rioters is the first mistake that the administration has made. Romney tried to correct it, and the media go wild.
I love it. Yeah, well, Romney blew it. But Bolton's he's doing damage control, and I think he's
very good at it.
I think
the way he did saved the little pro Romney little bit in there was just definitely worth the job.
And I really think that the heavy hitters are out. I think that
it's amateur hours, so they got to bring in the pros.
Oh yeah,
who have been trained for this, and they come in there and they hit all the shows and they get booked on everything all at once because they got the right PR agency. And they boom, 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 and they start to pummel the audience, and then pretty soon this thing blows over. Except it's not quite blowing over in the Middle East, which is problematic.
No, I mean obviously everyone's now out there. And by the way, have you seen the professionality of the signs people are carrying around?
Yeah, I mean, not quite on the same level as these phony baloney protests in China, which are outrageously professional, and the T-shirts and everything they have in China.
Yeah,
it's just like, come on. Which is another topic we'll go to it later, which is like over the islands again.
I just want to wrap it up with a few more things, then we can get out of here and thank our producers for stuff. There was just one. Well, here's a quick little funny clip about the level of idiocy in our foreign policy.
Twitter, a spat broke out between the U.S. Embassy and the ruling Egyptian political party, the Muslim Brotherhood. The embassy warning the Brotherhood that it was reading in Arabic tweets sent from their account supporting the protesters. By the way, have you checked out your own Arabic feeds? I hope you know we read those too. Tomorrow, the Muslim Brotherhood is calling for people to protest peacefully and not outside the U.S. Embassy. But, Diane, we know these demonstrations are unpredictable.
So this is ABC News reporting on a Twitter war between the Muslim Brotherhood and the U.S. Embassy in Cairo. They're flaming each other on Twitter. This is the level that we have sunken to with our news reporting. It's fantastic. So, of course, the obvious way that if you got a problem with these countries, then, the way diplomacy is supposed to work, and I think it always works with either money or with muscle, you say, hey, Egypt, shut up, or we're not going to give you the $10 billion or whatever it is we give you. So this, of course, is immediate. This is all part of the plan. And Rand Paul is right in there. He's on board. They've got him, and he's on board with the message. So he's there in the Senate saying, hey, if these people, he said, if they can't be civilized, then we should stop giving them money. John Kerry, who is not, he's not being invited anywhere. I'm not quite sure why, but they don't invite him to come on the show.
Bores them stiff.
Yeah,
he's not the kind of guy you want to have a drink with.
So he, of course, has to protect the interest, because the $1 billion, it's not like they give $1 billion to Morsi and say, here's a check. No. There's $1 billion that goes to other American companies to go build stuff in Egypt. Okay, like data centers and all this. There's a lot going on in Egypt. Really, a lot of investment from the U.S. under the banner of, it's aid for you guys. Bull crap. It's going to U.S. and Western companies to build stuff. So Kerry has to defend that. And he's such a douche when he does it.
The Libyan government didn't do this. The Egyptian government didn't do this. What's happening there? The Yemen government sent its people to protect our people. And we helped negotiate the transfer of authority to this new government in Yemen. Now, are they having difficulties? Yeah.
Now, listen to this, John.
Go back and look at the United States of America in the 1700s. We had some difficulties. We have to write slavery out of the Constitution.
What? Did we have to write slavery out? Was it in the Constitution? You can have slaves?
As far as I know.
Wait a minute. The Constitution at one point said you can have slaves.
No, there was the voting thing where a slave, a free man was worth so much vote, and a slave was worth less. And there was a bunch of stuff in the Constitution. It wasn't like it was precluded.
So we had to write slavery out of the Constitution?
I had to open the Constitution right now, but I'm afraid actually, let me try going to my web stuff with Chrome and see if that prevents my going to high pitch.
Oh, you're rolling on Chrome today instead of Firefox. Very good.
Well, I'm not. I haven't.
Yeah. Well, we'll wait. We'll see what happens.
No, you want me to go to the Constitution?
Yeah. Don't you have it? Don't you have your little book there?
No, I'm going to Google.
I just don't understand. I cannot.
I don't know what he's talking about. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, he's saying we had to write slavery out of the Constitution. I don't.
Article. Well, okay, here it is. I got a good little thing here.
Everyone's saying the three-fifths rule. For
constitutional topics, blah, blah, blah. Slavery is a prominent part of the United States history. La, la, la. Origins of slavery. I mean, Constitution. By the time of the Constitutional Convention, slavery in the United States was a grim reality. The census. Okay, in the Articles of Confederations, there's not a mention of slavery. The states were represented in Congress by state, blah, blah, blah. Great movement, Declaration of Independence. Doesn't say anything. This came up in the search, but it's not giving me what I'm looking for. But we're just continue with the thing.
Difficulties. We have to write slavery out of the Constitution and a bunch of other things. And it takes time. The arrogance of suggesting that we're going to judge whether or not they're civilized today or tomorrow because a mob or a bunch of militants take matters into their own hands would just be the most, sort of self-defeating, narrow effort you could possibly conceive of. Pakistan. I don't know. I'd ask the senators. Has he ever been to Pakistan? Has the senator ever been to Egypt?
Hey, bitch.
I asked the senator. Has the senator ever been to Egypt? The senator doesn't want to answer. I presume it means he hasn't been. You got to go to Egypt and see what those people are struggling to do. That was a revolution in Tahrir Square.
Now, okay, this was a revolution, John. What kind of revolution was it in Tahrir Square?
And it wasn't an Islamic revolution. It was a generational revolution. A bunch of young people with smartphones tweeting each other and Googling.
God, this guy's an idiot.
Googling the revolution.
Okay, the slavery is in the Constitution in a few key places. The first is the enumeration clause, where representatives are apportioned. Each state is given a number of representatives based on its population. That population includes slaves or other persons counted as 3/5 of a whole person. The compromise was fought by the North. Blah, blah, blah. In Article 1, Section 9, Congress is limited expressly from prohibiting the importation of slaves before 1808. Yeah, so there was enough in there that had to be written out, which was an amendment, obviously, free slaves.
Okay, well,
so he's not wrong about that.
Okay,
now
we learned something. There we go.
I don't know how much we learned. But,
I learned that there's some stuff in there. But it doesn't matter, because if you want to start a revolution, you just have to Google. That's what I really learned. Yeah, not Facebook. No, you Google. You just Google.
Well, he brought that up. I do have a clip that kind of fits into this, which is the rundown of riots in Cairo with added tidbit.
Another tidbit.
It's got another tidbit, a bit of a tid.
Sudan and Tunisia was stormed by demonstrators, and one person was killed during protests in Lebanon. There's concern that extremists hostile to the West may be exploiting the situation. From Cairo, the BBC's Middle East editor, Jeremy Bowen, reports.
On the banks of the Nile, more tear gas and more stones. Protests that started here in Cairo on Tuesday night are still going on and have spread across the Arab Middle East and beyond. The police fired repeated volleys of tear gas to keep them away from the U.S. Embassy, the target here and in other countries, because the anti-Muslim film they hate so much was produced in America. The anger about the film is still a driving force. Here in Cairo, other grievances, including hatred of the police, have been grafted onto it.
This is about a lot more now than the film and dislike of America. It's got tied up with the fractures in Egyptian society. Since the revolution, this has been an unhappy place, and those splits are getting wider.
It's an unhappy place.
So the guy mentions the police. You know, this is what happened in London, of course, underreported. All those riots that burnt down that block in
they hate
London.
The cops.
It was the cops. They hate the cops. They hate the cops here too. Yeah. This anti-police thing, which is massive around the world, is really underreported, and I think has a lot to do with what's going on.
Yeah, it's good
to say the least. In fact, another clip I have, which kind of is weird, which makes you really wonder about the movie, is the one German embassy attacked. And then they the news media, they kind of restructure and
because they got to make the film fit the German embassy attack, right? Am I right?
So here's the clip. Yeah.
In Khartoum, Sudan's capital, protesters broke into the German embassy. America's Western allies are being blamed too. In every Muslim country, the violence as well as the film appalls plenty of people. But what's happening is also tapping into assumptions that the West is against them. Later, they attacked the British embassy and moved on to the US compound. And the storm caused by the film ended another life. In Tunis, at least 2 demonstrators were killed as the US embassy was stormed. Later, the American school was burnt down. Across the region, local factors are also feeding the anger. In Tunisia, this could be exploited by hardliners known as Salafists, who are agitating against more moderate political Islamists who won the election after the revolution.
Okay, this is very important. The guy brings up the Salafists, because this is, you know, that a major Salafist, what do you call him? Imam, I think, was murdered in one of the stands just a few days ago. And this is, so as a side note to all of this is a huge problem for Putin, what's taking place now. Because he has all of the stands, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, all of these places, huge Salafist Muslim population, and now they're all getting rowdy, which he has to deal with as well. So there's so many different angles to this, which, we are in a unbelievable, it's great for the show. As long as no one is attacking Camp Mofo in Austin, this is great for the show.
Well, there's not that many Salafists. Now, people should be reminded, and you should look it up, it's Salafist. And this term has finally come into mainstream media, although 2 or 3 years ago, you'd never heard it before, and then people would always refer to the Wahhabists. And the Wahhabis are part of the larger Salafist movement, and Salafist. And the Salafists are the extreme, and they're not part of the Al Qaeda or anything else. No. And curiously, if people really want to do some work on this, if you really look into Al Qaeda and Bin Laden, you'll find that they were Sufis, which makes no sense to anybody who has a superficial look at this. But you'll find that that's true. It's actually one of our listeners about a year and a half ago told me this, and I looked it up, and it was all true. Yep. And Sufis are also the mystics that are hated by the Sunnis and the Shiites, but for some reason, this whole thing is crazy. Mm-hmm. And Sufis are also, as the mystics, are also minimalist in a lot of ways, and that's why Osama's encampment was so minimalist. It's like a place Steve Jobs would live. Yeah. A bed on the floor, and that's about it. Mm-hmm. So this whole thing is really more of a kind of a struggle within the as the Muslims, they call it, the Ummah, or which is the massive community of all Muslims. And we're just, I don't know if we're playing it or we're trying I don't think we really even understand. I think the policymakers don't really even understand this stuff. They don't care. I think it's complicated material. I don't think the Obama administration, I don't think they really understand it. I don't think the Romney people give a crap. That's, if Romney gets in, it's just like having Bush in. It's going to be the same mofos. The whole thing is effed. And what I find interesting is that report. Did you hear how it was almost like a World War II newsreel? Did you hear that? Did you hear how? Yeah. And listen to this one. This is from, I have from in Antwerp. Now, Antwerp has a huge Muslim population, and they got all rowdy and were starting to riot. But listen to how this is reported from the Belgian International News Department.
An unauthorized demonstration in protest against...
I love unauthorized
demonstration must cease immediately.
This is completely out of 1984, but just listen to it.
The anti-Islam video, Innocence of Muslims, resulted in rioting in the Borgerhout district of Antwerp on Saturday night. A folkloristic pageant was planned, but troublemakers encouraged people to turn out to protest by texting. These are the scenes of the Turhalse Bahn. At first, the demonstrators shouted slogans, but when one youth was arrested, the atmosphere turned nasty, and the police had to intervene. Troublemakers were isolated and detained. In all, over 100 people were arrested.
Now they show some footage of people getting clobbered, and then, all of a sudden...
By nightfall, calm had returned to the streets of Antwerp. Local residents enjoy the fine summer weather and have a Barbie.
Carry on, citizens. All is well. We have packed the ugly Muslims away.
Where did you get that?
From the Belgian news. Hey, citizen.
Hey, citizen.
It's okay. Carry on. Carry on. Everything's okay. It's all fine. Oh, dude. Can I just play one more?
You're on a roll.
Yeah, I got one more. I got Romney, he's such an idiot. This guy is such a douche. So, agent of the Democrats, George Stephanopoulos, is grilling Romney. All he's trying to do is checkmate him. Say, well, you're no better than Obama. That's George's his job, is to say, well, your policy is the same as the president's policy, only you're a rich a-hole. And Obama is also, well, not quite as rich a-hole. But then Romney says something so funny about Ahmadinejad. Because, of course, he needs to bring this back to Iran to make his Uberlord Bibi Netanyahu happy.
Policy. Also, Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel has suggested he wants more clear red lines from the United States. What is your red line with Iran?
Well, my red line is Iran may not have a nuclear weapon. Iran as a nuclear nation is unacceptable to the United States of America.
President Obama said exactly the same thing. He said it is unacceptable for Iran to have a nuclear weapon. So your red line is the same as his.
Yeah, and I laid out what I would do to keep Iran from reaching that red line. I said that crippling sanctions needed to be put in place immediately. That combined with standing up with Iranian dissidents. The president was silent. When dissidents took to the streets in Tehran, the president was silent. In addition, I think Ahmadinejad should have been indicted under the Genocide Convention for incitation to genocide.
Hey, man, incitation to genocide. He should be indicted under the Genocide Convention for incitation of the genocides.
Oh, man.
What an idiot. So the genocide, maybe he means Geneva Convention, but the genocide, there is such
a Genocide Convention. Hey, we're having a genocide convention over here at the Albatross Pub.
So there is such a thing as there is a convention against genocide. It's not generally known as the Genocide Convention, and Iran is certainly not a part of it. But then to say for incitation, what does that even mean?
You know, he's encouraging people to commit genocide.
Let me just hear that one more time.
To genocide.
But your red line.
Oh, crap. Hold on. The incitation, everybody.
To genocide.
But your red line.
Ah, crap. Screw it. Anyway, the guy's an a-hole. So then there's the red line. Now, just before the show started this morning, Benjamin Netanyahu was on Meet the Press with our friend Bob Gregory. Is his name Bob?
It's Chuck.
Chuck Gregory. And, of course, the question is, where's the red line?
As a Prime Minister of Israel, has Iran crossed your red line?
Well, the way I would say it, David, is they're in the red zone.
Ooh, he's ratcheting it up
zone. They're in a football game.
Oh, listen to him.
You know, they're in the last 20 yards.
20 yards, John. You nailed it. Oh.
You can't let them cross that goal line. You can't let them score a touchdown.
What? What does he know about football?
I was a linebacker, baby.
Unbelievable. So this is what it's come to.
Because that would have unbelievable consequences, grievous consequences.
Yes, it would be 7 points.
Of us all, of the world, really.
Of the world. The whole world.
Yeah, 7-0, yeah.
No, that's only if you get the conversion. That's not true.
That's true.
You still have to kick the field goal. So then he goes on.
Field goal. Field goal's 3. It's not the same as a conversion.
Oh, right. Conversion is 1, correct? Right. Yes. You get 6 points. So he's saying it'll be 6-0 if they have a nuclear bomb. Not 7. So then he has to go one step further than his red line, and he actually will say now that the people storming our embassies were Iranian terrorists. He doesn't say it like that, but he kind of says it.
I think Iran is very different. They put their zealotry above their survival. They have suicide bombers all over the place. I wouldn't rely on their rationality. Since the advent of nuclear weapons, you've had countries that had access to nuclear weapons who always made a careful calculation of cost and benefit. But Iran is guided by a leadership with an unbelievable fanaticism. It's the same fanaticism that you see storming your embassies today. You want these fanatics to have nuclear weapons.
Bull crap.
Yeah, of course it's bull
First
crap.
of all, a couple of things. One, where are all these Iranian suicide bombers? They're not
Zero.
in Iran.
Zero.
They're roaming all over the place.
Thank
Okay,
you.
that's one. Two, everyone knows that the mullahs are living in these huge compounds. They're loaded. They're essentially raping the country, stealing all the money, the tax money, and they're living a good life. In the end, they get to boss everybody around. They're not interested in getting themselves blown to smithereens so they can meet with some virgins in their heaven.
No, they got
That's
it
not
good
the case.
right now.
It's bullcrap.
Yeah.
But then they're leading a good life, and they're not willing to give it up for whatever he said. It's bullcrap.
So may I ask you a question then? No, wait. Let me play the last little BB clip here. Who now he's rubbing it in Obama's face with this.
Can the United States and its allies specifically do to contain it?
Well, look, I think people focus on the spark of reprehensible and irresponsible film is a spark, but it's not. It doesn't explain anything. I mean, it doesn't explain 9/11. It doesn't explain the decades of animosity and the grievances that go back centuries.
So he basically just said 9/11, but you know what? He didn't say 9/11 2001. He could have just as easily meant 9/11, the one we just had, where I sent my agents in to go kill your guy. This is at a huge high level, high stakes game. And the only question I really have is, and let us just presume that Iran wants to wipe Israel off the face of the map. If we just take away those words for a minute, because I'm still not convinced that they have actually been said or they mean it, what is the problem that Israel has with Iran, John? Do you see what their problem is? Is it literally just because they keep threatening them, which is a valid reason? But what is the problem?
There's got to be something else to it.
There must be. It can't just be the religious angle. It's hard for me to buy it.
Well, this is what we do on our show, so we have a couple of years to figure it out, and we'd be the only ones who ever did. I'm sure if we watch enough of these intelligence briefings, which we watch a lot
try to do,
I'm sure that we will find it in there because I'm sure it's been discussed.
Anyway, the red line meme is everywhere now.
Yeah.
Do you know where else the red line has been crossed? A big red line.
On the X Factor TV show?
Let's get reaction with the PR consultant Max Clifford, who joins us on the line from Marbella in Spain. Thank you very much for joining us on BBC World, Mr. Clifford. First, the palace is talking about a red line being crossed. Would you see it that way?
This is about the
William and Kate.
The topless pictures. Luckily, we have taken the red line of Israel, and we've now moved it to Kate's boobies. This is great.
Yes, and before we get to that, which I'd like to do, because I have 4 clips.
Yes, let's thank some
and
producers.
By the way, have we all seen the pictures?
Of course we've seen the pictures.
Yes. Yeah. And let me just say this in advance as a tease for the next segment, which is, I think if they were complaining about anything, she really has a terrific butt. She does. She has her top is whatever it is. I mean, you go to Saint-Tropez and everybody walks around like that. So what's the big deal? The Brits are all upset. We do have a few executive producers to thank for today's show, starting with an Insta-Night, Robert Brock.
Hey now.
In Anchorage, Alaska, who follows the new pattern of Insta-Nights not sending us any notes. We looked everywhere.
Wow. This is, I'm not complaining about it, but this is, first of all, it's amazing to get this level of support.
Yeah, it's a 12-12-12. It's an instant night 12-12-12. So he's going to be knighted today.
But then without a note is just, wow. I mean, that's just love. That's just like, here, I love you. I don't need to say anything else. Love you. Mean it. Carry on. Keep calm. Carry on.
And then in New Lenox, Illinois, David Goes came in with 91307, and he sent a kind of more than made up for Rock's lack of a note. Let me just read some of it. It's actually too long to read the whole thing, but he has a son who has autism he's giving the knighthood to, and he has a number of interesting things to say about it. Maybe we should just run this letter as linked on the show notes in its entirety.
As a whole,
as a note, just post it and then run it on the as a link.
I think that's a good idea. I will do that. I'll
just read a few pieces. He wanted to donate to the greatest podcast in the universe. The show's amazing. He's been listening every minute since his friend John Bell introduced him to the show earlier this summer, and he also promotes the show. He has. Like I said, a son with autism, and he finds that he has this little interesting tidbit. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services alone approves both FDA and promotes CDC and legislates vaccines. Mm-hmm. If your child is hurt or killed by vaccines, pharmaceutical companies, we talk about this on the show if you just start listening, but we have discussed this to an extreme about a year ago.
Indemnified. You can't sue them.
Yeah. Even though he mentions that there's been $2 billion in compensation since 1998.
Well, you get the compensation, but then you can't talk about it. That's the deal they make with you.
So anyway, he has a lot of thoughts on this, and we want to recommend checking out the letter. We'll find a way.
And where is he from?
He is from New Lenox, Illinois.
And do you think it's his name is Goes or Goes? Because if I look at it in a Dutch way, it would be Goes.
I think I've seen the name Goes.
You think it would be Goes?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we'll be knighting his son Noah. Awesome. And he will be the, we have to give him a cool title since he's autistic. The spinning knight of the No Agenda Roundtable.
You don't know that he spins.
Oh, come on. If he's properly autistic, he spins.
I don't think he wants to be called that.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought it would be a lovely extra title. Maybe that you don't find that offensive, do you?
I think it lacks taste.
Okay.
He mentions that the tax on every vaccine goes straight to the HHS coffers, and they dole it out to their own discretion without a jury of peers through some douchebag called a special master. Do we know anything about this?
I don't know anything about this.
We have to look into it.
Whenever we talk about vaccines, then it's like 8 million emails, and we're crazy, and Holocaust deniers, and it's just endless. Endless.
Anyway, so to his amazing boy, my kick-ass mama bear warrior wife, LJ, and our two other amazing human resources, please give a big-ass shut-up slave. And to the Julie Gerberding, Kathy Sebelius, Tom Insel, Paul Offit, Seth Minikin, Anderson Pooper, Bill Gates, and the rest of the pharma pawns, a hearty douchebag.
Okay, first let me do the...
Shut up, slave!
And then to that entire list. Douchebag! I made it extra loud. Extra loud. Doesn't he need some karma as well?
Yeah, give him some karma.
Yeah, I'd love to give you some karma. Thank you so much. That's awesome, man.
You've got karma.
I think he sent this on 9/13, which was for our previous show, but I think it came in late, right? Is that how the number he came up with the number? Okay. Cool.
Yeah, El Yoho.
Yoho.
From Woodbridge, Virginia, 444. Remember the 444 Club. It's El Yoho, soon to be Sir Yoho. I've had a few too many, and I've had a few too many, and I've made a drunk donation from my phone. Hope outworks your guys deserve it. I'm trying to propagate and tell these douchebags that the election is bullcrap. The Rooney nuts think he's going to win, but I know he's not. It also makes me so mad they can't see through this crap. Anyway, takes for being the best push in the universe. That's what it says.
It says podcaster.
Well, something. Okay. Awesome. Leonard Smalls in the Bronx, New York City. 444. He's Leonard Small. Yes. Started listening to the best podcast in the universe 2 months ago, and he's already up to 444. And like a flame to a moth. Haven't missed an episode. I usually download the show via iTunes, but for this, I'll be listening live from the stream. Can I have a citizen karma for my friends and family and a douchebag? Give the douchebag for his coworker, Ms. Marsh, who hit me in the mouth without ever donating, Miss Marsh. Lastly, I'd like to recommend 2 documentaries, Yes Men 1 and 2, and the 2 characters in the movie on the World Bank, George Bush, and the FEMA by revealing their true identities to the media. I only mention this because one of the characters, a professor of mine who inspired me to be a critical thinking human resource. The duo's efforts inspired the Guggenheim Foundation to give them money. The value for value model is sound, but if John's psychotheory is correct, you guys are going to need a plan B.
Yeah. It's learning how to play the slide whistle and the kazoo at the same time
while having a cymbal.
So,
Sir
okay.
Keith.
Well, hold on. I got to do the hey, Shitison, you've got karma. Right.
Hey, Shitison.
You've got karma.
That's definitely our new one, our Shitison.
Shitison. Sir Keith Edwards in Gilbert, Arizona, 20917. It's been a while since I donated. Keep up the great work and send some karma to herself at home. What? And belated birthday wishes to Adam.
I don't know.
Send some karma to herself at home. Whoever is
Sir Keith a her?
No, Sir Keith is not a her. Maybe it's to herself, his wife.
We're going to send it. That's for sure. Here it comes.
You've got karma.
And finally, associate executive producer goes to Jeff Long, Creighton, Nebraska. $200 twice a week. I'm thoroughly entertained and informed with the world's best news and analysis, which I can't get anywhere else. This is true, and it's pathetic, isn't it? Please accept this donation as a token of appreciation for how much I value your podcast.
Oh, thank you. Actually, we have one more donation, John. Sergei Naftuliev was in town.
Ah,
yes, Sergei, and he invited Ms. Mickey and I to lunch, and he treated us to a lovely lunch and gave us $200 in cash donation for us to be for him to be an associate executive producer on episode 444, and he only had one request.
Yes,
he wanted me to play this.
Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand.
Because he thinks
that's bullcrap. He never requested that.
That's exactly what he asked for.
Well, Paul Ryan should be donating too.
And the reason why he asked for that is because he thinks it's funny how you get all riled up when I play it.
I don't get riled up.
Okay.
That's bull crap. I get riled up.
I love it. All right, so thank you very much, Sergey. And he also gave me a lot of information, which I cannot attribute to him. I'll slip it in over the next hour and a half. What's that?
Oh, is it going to be all today?
Oh, yeah. Some of it's already, without you knowing it, some of it's already been out there. This guy is, who knows? Who knows about, don't ask any questions about Sir Gene.
Yeah, well, Sir Gene's a good guy.
He has a pet
All right,
snake.
so that'll be it for today's executive producers. I want to thank them all and mention to everyone else to go to Dvorak.org/NA, channel Dvorak.com/NA, noagendashow.com. Hit the donate button. Also, noagendanation.com has a donate button, a separate kind of a backup donation site. And you can help us out for show 445 coming up next Thursday. We can use all the help we can get.
And isn't our 5th anniversary coming up real soon?
It's coming up.
Yeah, coming up. Okay. We appreciate all of the help, and all you have to do is go to
Dvorak.org/NA.
And of course, we always appreciate you doing the simple thing of propagating our formula.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Yeah, everybody, come on, say it now.
Hey, before we go into the boob gate.
Oh, I wasn't going to go there right now, actually.
To boob gate?
No, I wasn't going. I was going to do a little follow on to.
Well, I wanted to do the follow on to explain what JC came up with is the theory why Romney's not going to give up his taxes or he doesn't want to.
So can I guess, because I've been thinking about this?
Yeah, I guess.
We tease this now. Of course, we had the logical ones, which is, it's probably going to be because he has multiple wives, he has 13 dependents, he's trying to deduct. I have thought about this. My belief would be he doesn't want to show his previous tax returns because it will come to light that he has not been a good Mormon and given all of the 10% of his income to tithing for the church. Did I nail it?
Exactly. Yeah, you did.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know why? Because
that's actually, as soon as he said it, I said, oh.
Makes sense, right?
And not only that, but it would destroy the Mormon church. Because all these poor people that give 10% is the tithe in the Mormon church.
Yeah.
And their promise is that, look, we're going to send you on these things. We're going to put you through school. We're going to do all these things for you. But you now owe us 10% of your income forever.
Yeah.
And if the richest of the rich say, 5% is good enough. 3.
That's enough.
The Catholics only want 3. Why do you want 10?
I believe that in what he showed on his tax returns that he did make public, I think that it didn't even amount to 10% on those. I think I remember reading something like that. It never came to
light. I haven't seen any publicity about this, but it would be very embarrassing.
So you know that
although I think the 13 Wives is funnier.
Yeah, it's much better. Well, there's not 13 Wives, just 13 Dependents.
That'd be good too.
So you saw the brief from the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security right after the Muslim Arab Spring, the Day of Rage uprising, the Arabian Fall of Anger, whatever they're calling it. They haven't come up with a snappy name yet. They'll come up with something. They'll come up with something. So you saw the warning, right? Warning. Oh yes, warning. Yes, look for violence in America. Violence in America. Violence in America. Violence.
When are we going to see it? I haven't seen it.
Are you kidding me?
Wait a minute.
Hello.
We are missing
Hello.
Welcome back, everybody. I want to get you up to speed on some breaking news that we have just into the MSNBC newsroom concerning some different university campuses around the country. First, I want to start with what we're learning out of the University of Texas in Austin.
Hello. This was my backyard. Hello.
It is
Did you go visit?
Listen.
Evacuation right now from campus orders due to threats that they received there on campus. Now, this is according to the AP, saying that a man reportedly placed these bombs all over their campus. They reported this, so they are, in effect, trying to evacuate accordingly. Now, apparently, this call came in around 11:35 this morning, where they received a call from a male claiming to have placed these bombs over campus. He said at the time that these would go off in roughly 90 minutes. Now, they, again, evacuated the campus buildings, and we're going to work to get more information and details on that. But
yes, lovely. So,
and of course, that wasn't the only school. That's the joke of it.
No, there were 3 other schools. I cut that out.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
So we're just like hanging out in the morning. We start getting emails and phone calls from all over the world. Are you guys okay? Are you okay in Austin?
What are you guys living on the campus in a garbage can or what?
We didn't even, we don't watch the news, not until it's time to work.
Saying, I mean, why would you think there's anything going on that would bother? Are people listeners to our show?
No, not listeners to our show. No, family. No,
gonna lose faith.
No, sleep. No, zombies. Friends, real friends who are zombies. Like, are you okay? Friends. Are you okay? We're still waiting for it to blow up. Interesting side note that the University of Texas had I think 3 or 4 drills for exactly this scenario in the past couple of weeks. And you do know that the University of Texas also has a nuclear reactor, so you have to be very, very afraid.
There's one in Cal too.
Yeah,
which is just ironic since it's a nuclear-free zone in Berkeley, but Cal's got a little reactor.
So that's just a call-in that they did. But of course, what the FBI really did to just accentuate their point was, another one of these.
Federal authorities say a teenager planned to blow up a bar in Chicago. FBI agents say an 18-year-old tried to set off a car bomb outside a bar in downtown Chicago. They arrested that teen last night. Officials say undercover agents pretended to be extremists and gave the teen a fake bomb. The U.S. Attorney's Office in Chicago says the public was never at any risk. That teen is now charged with attempting to use a weapon of mass destruction and attempting to damage or destroy a building with an explosive.
How many times do we have to go through this?
How many times is this going to go on this setup?
But it's
hey kid, man.
Yeah, what's up, dude?
Hey kid. I'm stoned, man. What do you want?
Hey man,
you want to take this bomb and put it in your car?
No, just take this button that'll blow up a bomb.
I'm not really in the mood, man. No, just take it. Hold it for a second. Ready? Just hold it. Now push the button. Oh, man.
Stand back.
Push it. Oh, terrorists.
Weapon of mass destruction.
So meanwhile, the underreported stuff versus what's going on with Occupy, especially in Chicago, where they've attacked the Obama headquarters.
Again?
Like they did in Oakland.
They did it again?
And nobody's talking about this.
But they did it again?
Yeah. The Obama headquarters have been attacked. It was done last week. And,
wow.
In Chicago, they've been attacked, and Oakland's got some action going on right now.
Yeah.
All the Occupy stuff, you have to go to their website to see what's going on, and they'll tell you everything.
Well, they had the 1-year anniversary.
No news media is covering this again.
No.
And why
of course
doesn't? And the thing that's weird is you think the Republicans would jump on this because the Democrats supposedly said, well, Occupy's they're bitching about the bankers and the Republicans, and meanwhile they're attacking Obama's headquarters. And you think the Republicans would say, look, they've turned on their own people. I mean, you think they'd use this whole thing. The whole media is
it's broken. It's broke.
It's totally broken. Here's a news story on the Telegraph. Did you see this one? This came out nowhere. Nowhere in the United States. Battleship, aircraft carriers, minesweepers, and submarines from 25 nations are converging on the strategically important Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah, for an exercise.
As Israel and Iran, it says this in the Telegraph, as Israel and Iran move towards the brink of war.
Yes, the script is in.
Western leaders are convinced that Iran will retaliate to any attack by attempting to mine or blockade the shipping lane, which of course kills them.
Yeah,
it's like I'm going to protest by shooting myself in the head. None of this makes any sense.
No.
And by the way, warships from more than 25 countries. How much? We're doing a heck of a business in these warships. Britain, France, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, they have warships. The UAE has warships?
Apparently.
Jeez.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, this is, I saw the same ones. I've only really seen it in the Telegraph. I haven't seen,
no, nobody's talking about it.
No.
It's only in the Telegraph.
However, luckily, we have Kate's boobs.
Oh, yes. Well, you want to see? We have to run down our article here.
Please, John. I have a feeling you have been doing some investigation. And may I just say, as an aside, I totally agree. That shot where she's bent over and you're looking at her butt, that's awesome. And she's known for her butt.
She has one of the really world-class butts.
It's a butt of beauty.
No, it's like really. It's one of those that they would sell pictures of. It's really.
Yeah, well,
it's perfectly shaped.
Do sell
it's not
pictures.
Too big, not too small. It doesn't hang. It hasn't got bulges and they got cellulite bubbling all over it. No boils. No boils on her ass, what I can tell.
It's a no-boil butt, which in our world of old guys is a big deal.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
So
I got a no-boil butt
because I have a commentary on here that just really galls me. In fact, when I get to part 2 of these clips, I get mad. I'll get angry.
What are we playing here? You're going to get angry?
William and Kate's boobs.
You're going to get really angry? I can't wait.
Not on this one, on the next one.
All right, cool.
It was a day to be demure. Friday, the Muslim holy day. William and Kate were making their first visit to a mosque. Kate's head was covered. They both removed their shoes. At that stage, they'd heard about, but not seen the photographs. They were said merely to be saddened by the incident. But after they'd left the mosque, officials started to receive copies of what the French magazine had published, and the intensity of the reaction suddenly changed. Instead of sadness, there was fury. Officials who are used to dealing with the media started talking about a red line having been crossed. William instructed his spokesman to issue an official statement. It said the photographs had invaded their privacy in a grotesque and totally unjustifiable manner. Then, tellingly, it invoked the memory of his mother. The incident is reminiscent of the worst excesses of the press and paparazzi during the life of Diana, Princess of Wales, and all the more upsetting to the Duke and Duchess for being so.
I love the red line in there. That's cool.
Going, well, whatever. It's no big deal.
All right, but now,
so now play William and Kate Part 2, and then I get mad.
Okay. All right. Stand back, everybody.
Beautiful.
Qui est amoureux, qui est magnifique.
The relationship Diana, Princess of Wales, had with the press was a complicated one. Her friends say she was constantly hounded, and the same thing must not be allowed to happen to Kate.
I have seen what damage is done by a constant intrusion into your life, how impossible it is to relax and have downtime if you've always got at the back of your mind, perhaps there's a camera there. These people are humans.
Perhaps there's a camera there? You mean like the general public in the UK that has cameras everywhere during their downtime, looking at them 24/7? You mean like that?
Come on.
Is that what she's referring to?
No, I think she's referring to just celebrity
she's referring
photographs.
to that's terrible to have cameras pointed at you during your downtime. Play the third clip, the one that's the punchline.
Yes, they're the royal family. Yes, they lead a life of immense privilege. But they should be allowed to have complete privacy when they're not doing their duty.
Really? Complete privacy when they're not doing their duty? You mean like being at a pub or doing something after work? The British public has to put up with these cameras pointing at them 24/7? You mean like that? Is that what she's talking about? Because that's what it sounds like she's talking about to me. This is bullshit. They should have cameras on them the way the public has cameras on them in England, 24/7, and they can shove it if they don't like it.
John C. Dvorak's pet peeve of the day.
Hell yeah, brother. Preach. Preach.
Saying.
Yeah, and he throws a just saying after it as well.
And then you got the final thing, which I have, which I thought was just an eye roller. They go on and on. The BBC spends the whole show on this stupid story because the woman has her tits exposed. So what? So you get this crap.
It's a very harsh lesson, sadly, that Kate has learnt this way. It was perhaps a little naive to think that they might be entirely alone. They're reported to have flown on a commercial airline to France, and no number of baseball caps and sunglasses are going to properly disguise them. So people knew they were there. Of course, you hope that you're private. There is an expectation of privacy. Perhaps there was a false sense of security by staying at a family member's chateau, but I don't think she'll be going topless again.
Victoria Arbiter, thank you very much indeed for joining us with that expert analysis.
An expert analysis. Thank you for the expert analysis, you twit. Jeez.
Hey, I think our expert analysis was better. She has a no-boil butt. Thank you, Messieurs Dvorak and Curry, for your expert analysis. Mr. Dvorak, do you have any more analysis of the boobs?
Of the douchebags at the BBC? No.
No. Meanwhile, in the same Gitmo Nation East, this kid who wrote this thing on his Facebook about the 6 British soldiers in Afghanistan. I want to read this to you because he has been found guilty and will be convicted, possibly thrown in jail for the following post on Facebook. People gassing about the deaths of soldiers. What about the innocent families who have been brutally killed, the women who have been raped, the children who have been sliced up? Your enemies were the Taliban, not innocent, harmful families. All soldiers should die and go to hell. The low-life fucking scum. Got a problem, go cry at your soldier's grave and wish him hell because that's where he's going. Granted, not nice.
No, I would say that lacks taste.
Yes, but he's been found guilty by an English court.
For what?
Well, let me see if I can give you the exact sentence. This is, again, the BBC. A teenager has been found guilty of posting an offensive Facebook message following the deaths. Let me see if there's an actual... Here it is. District Judge Jane Goodwin said Ahmed's Facebook remarks were, quote, derogatory, disrespectful, and inflammatory. I guess that's illegal now. And he will be sentenced for his guiltiness of being derogatory, disrespectful, and inflammatory. That is apparently against the law. And please, he just did it on Facebook. Imagine if you do it and one of those cameras catches you doing it. Ho, ho, ho.
They'll execute you.
Yeah.
Off with his head.
And in Texas, we had our own little shut-up slave moment. And I think the people are not understanding exactly how messed up this is, listen to just a bit of a report. What happened is a mom who, upper class neighborhood somewhere in, I don't know where, somewhere not near here, somewhere in West Texas. So they have like a cul-de-sac, and the kids are out there on their scooters roaming around, and she gets picked up for endangerment of her children.
Orange jumpsuit, in a cell, slammed the door for 18 hours.
Tammy Cooper says her kids, ages 9 and 6, were riding their scooters around the cul-de-sac where they live while she sat in her front yard and watched from a few feet away. A little while later, she says, a LaPorte police officer pulled up.
I went out there to see what he was here for, and he says, "No, ma'am, we're here for you." And I said, "Oh, really? Why?" And that's when he proceeded to tell me that he had received a call from one of my neighbors that my kids were outside riding their scooters and supervised. Said, "Well, ma'am, turn around, put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest for child endangerment."
So what I find interesting, and of course everyone's outraged by this, because she was watching her children.
Cooper says the allegations are absurd, and she insists her kids were never alone.
No, I was out there the entire time.
So this is what irks me about this is what it's become about is that she was supervising her children.
I know exactly where you're going with this. I'm going to agree in advance, but keep going.
I mean, how ridiculous is this that these kids can't just be outside by their own unsupervised, goofing off, roaming around? Since when did this become a problem?
I've never heard of such a thing. It's ridiculous.
Well, the Child Protection Service... When I was a kid, I tell you exactly, and this is why the slide whistle has a Pavlovian response with me. When I was a kid, when I was 6, I'll tell you how to do it in a minute. When I was 6, even 5, I'd be outside. It was until the street lights came on, or if it was summertime, then my mom, and it wouldn't matter. I could be roaming anywhere around the streets, just as long as I looked up and down the street so I wouldn't get hit by a car. They would do they had a slide whistle. My parents had a slide whistle.
They did?
Yep. And they did a bosun whistle on me, and that meant it was time to come home. Can you do the... No. No.
I can't. I actually have a bosun's whistle, which I've not brought into the play, but a bosun's
it's like
whistle.
That.
Those are very loud.
Wait, it's like that's kind of a bosun. It's like
I'd have to practice.
But that's it. And that meant come home. And you came home, and big deal. And you were out, and you were you're rolling in the mud, eating dirt. Eating dirt, remember not eating dirt, John? We ate dirt, right? Hey, and remember we used to set fires to stuff?
So what was the thing with was it child endangerment that they nicked her with?
And this is what
this is horrible.
Yes. Child Protective Services,
especially in Texas, they're totally corrupt.
Oh, yeah.
Down there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think they just grab these children and sell them.
Or eat them.
Yeah, maybe there's that, of course. Yeah.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh, yeah, that'd be fab.
Yeah, on No Agenda in the morning.
We actually have a pretty low number of people that gave us a well-wishing donations today.
I'm glad we got our 444 nights in there. That was nice.
Yeah, that's a plus. Jesse Wilson in Hobart, Indiana, $111.11. Unfortunately, the karma didn't work to get the courts to pay me my money faster.
Oh.
Guess the government is karma resistant. I'm sure it is.
Oh, no.
I did talk to my friend and haven't heard from in a year. So karma, please. Oh, Adam, why catch up on the shows? Because all the stuff you two talk about is so important and beneficial. Jess.
Oh, okay. Hey, remember we used to have rock fights where you throw actual rocks at each other? Did you ever do that, John?
Yeah, and we also had gun fights with no real guns, but with cap guns.
BB guns?
Now, if you have a cap gun, you're a juvenile delinquent. You don't even sell cap guns anymore.
You've got karma.
I remember rock fights. And then,
they had some poor deaf kid whose name is Gunner or something, and her or his sign for himself is like a little gun, and they busted the kid in the grammar school for signing his own name or her own name.
Gunner?
Yeah, it was Gunner. I don't know if it's a guy or girls. I can't remember if it's
Gunnar.
a boy or girl.
No, that's a Gunnar Nelson. Matt and Gunnar Nelson. The Nelson twins. Ricky Nelson's son is named Gunnar.
Well, there you have it. If you were deaf and you would have the sign is a little is like pointing a gun and shooting it, and that was terrible. I mean, this country is out of control.
Do you remember when you used to have a rock fight, and then eventually someone would get like a hole in his head, and then we'd be like,
hit by a rock.
Yeah, we'd be like, oh, dude, that was kind of dumb. Why were we doing that? Because it was fun.
Yeah, rock fights. Snowball fights are probably bad too.
Oh, I'm sure those are illegal.
Patrick Sullivan in Sturgeon, someplace Cove. Let me stretch this out.
I can't see
Sturgeon County, Alberta. Alberta, our favorite place in Canada.
Hey, did you get that note that it wasn't just that?
Yeah, Northern Saskatchewan has a bunch of stuff too.
Yeah, they got money too.
But Northern Saskatchewan? Come on. It's just probably being routed through Alberta. Here's my payment for my summer yard work entertainment. As I ride around the acreage on my tractor and cut the grass, I listen to the show. My neighbors always want to know why I'm laughing, so I can listen to you as I run the snowblower. Or soon. Soon I can listen to you as I run the snowblower.
Thank you very much. Well, we're glad you enjoy it.
It's Gregory Sizemore in Glen Burnie, Maryland. Love the show. Could use a shot of karma.
You've got karma.
$100 from him. Also $100 from El Campeador from the fifth column. A round of karma for everyone.
Hookers for everyone.
You've got karma.
And he's in Lulu on the Beach, Satellite Beach, Florida. 6969. Play the theme.
Oh, I'm sorry, John. I'm asleep at the wheel here. Oh, my God.
No, you can't even find it.
69, dudes.
Swazzle enough, everybody. Happy Swazzle enough.
Started listening to the show and have been thoroughly entertained. I'm sending in 6969 for Buzzkill. However, just so Crackpot doesn't feel left out, I'm sending my favorite Belgian Soissant Neuf joke for Adam. Okay. Great.
Ken je de man...
Are you going to read it?
I'll read it. Ken je de man met de 70 hobby's?
Read the punchline and we'll just leave it at that.
Soissant neuf en poepen. Wow. That was great. Thank you.
I'm guessing the joke is, can you tell me what are your favorite hobbies? And the guy says 69 and crapping.
It doesn't translate. Forget about it. I'm happy. I'm happy with the joke.
Please send some mega karma and shut up slave for my human resources. They are still zombies in the public school system. My fourth grader just learned their definition of govern in his homework last night. Govern, to control the actions of or behavior of something or someone. God.
That's probably the definition, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what he sent us. That's what he got. That's why he sent us the money.
All right. Hold on. Lulu on the Beach. Shut up, slave. Mega karma. Just a shut up for your human resource.
Shut up, slave karma.
All right.
Shut up, slave.
You've got karma.
Do you think Lulu's male or female?
She's female. Lulu.
Send pictures.
Say Lulu on the Beach in Florida, please.
Yeah.
St. Nicola Crest, Clarkson, Western Australia.
St. Nicola.
6969.
Hey.
Barely got in. Hey, it's St. Nicola, the night nurse with a drunk donation.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh, I love drunk chicks.
Drunk chicks. Hey. Hey, I know it's early morning here, but what the heck? It's the weekend and I don't get a drop throughout the week. It's been a while since my last donation apart from my monthly subscription. Sorry. Hey. Are you guys serious about the limit of just 3 jingles per donation? Oh, I like the donation part very much and was wondering just how far people would go before you put a lid on it. Since it's then no longer an option, I want to take the whole thing to just another new level. I want John to hop on one leg while doing a slide whistle frenetically, while Adam tries to find the right buttons for a formal de-douching it that hasn't been done yet. A karma shout-out for the humankind and the best podcast in the universe, all while being completely cross-eyed for me being drunk. Could you arrange that, please? I don't need a getting laid karma because I'm getting plenty, including swazzle enough, so I thought I owe you for that.
I love the sign-off.
Love you heaps. Laters, babes. XOXO.
All right, so you've got to do a slide whistle, and then I've got to do a de-douching, all right, go ahead.
You've been de-douched. You've got karma.
The best podcast in the universe.
All right, St. Nicole.
Yes. Don Ripple in Dresden, Ohio, 6048. Belated happy birthday to Adam. Since I made a $60 donation to John C. on his birthday, I feel compelled to do likewise for Adam, 6048.
Oh, nice.
48 cents for you. Stephen J. Nelson in Wheat Ridge, Colorado, 5110. Double nickels on the dime. Catherine Adams in Bellevue, Ontario. Ontario?
Ontario.
Yes, Ontario.
Ontario.
This donation is out of my smoking hot boyfriend's birthday. Could we get some new world order and slide whistle action for a special day? Much love from Katie Adams to Jordan Cada here in Canada's capital, Ottawa City. Keep up the media assassination, gentlemen.
I want new world order karma? Okay.
You've got karma.
All right.
Okay. And I scroll down a bit. Paul Boyer in Leesburg, Virginia. Nice place. I've been there. 5360.
I've been there.
Yes, nice.
Yeah.
I'm giving you, it's a very nice place. I'm giving you my 10 cents for every elected official in the federal government.
Oh.
Comes to 5360. I've been a listener since Daily Source Code, show 100, 7 years. Tomorrow, Monday, September 17th, is the 225th anniversary of the signing of the U.S. Constitution. Who would know? I just released a book called The Original Counter-Argument, The Founders' Case Against the Ratification of the Constitution, adapted for the 21st century. That's a hell of a title. It's a collection of essays by America's founders, including George Mason and Patrick Henry, that warn about putting too much power in the hands of too few people. I've translated their words into modern English to make them easier to read today. Please ask your listeners to support Liberty and purchase a copy at Amazon or go to planetboyer.com for more information. And please play Whoop 'em with the Constitution and have a happy 225 birthday shout out to the U.S. Constitution.
You know, that actually sounds like something that I might want to read.
Yeah, you should probably do want to read.
Okay.
Essays are great. Old essays.
Now get out there and whoop Obama's behind. Whoop him, whoop him, whoop him, whoop him, whoop him, whoop him, whoop him with the Constitution. Whoop him, whoop him, whoop him, whoop him, whoop him, whoop him with the Constitution. Whoop him, whoop him, whoop him, whoop him, whoop him with the Constitution. Whoop him, whoop him, whoop him all there behind the Constitution. Whoop it.
It's a little long.
It's a little long.
A little long.
I should ban it. Brad Doherty in Brooklyn, New York, 5130. No comment we can find, I don't think. Justin Hilton somewhere in the military. Congratulations on your 5th anniversary. No Agenda is my favorite podcast by far. Besides the crackpot theories, I get the most value when you fill me in on what distraction of the week was meant to distract me from. In other words, less Pussy Riot, more pipelines. Keep up the good work, and once again, congratulations. And 5130 is our congratulatory number.
That's right.
And so Brad in Brooklyn.
That's our 5th anniversary number?
Yes.
Why is that our 5th?
It's in one of the newsletters. I explain it in great detail.
Understand. I forgot. I don't read the newsletter. What did it say?
Oh, really? Matthias Merkert in Landau.
Matthias. Merkert.
In Landau, 50. Please send me some karma for my test in chemistry on Monday.
Oh, better living through chemistry. Totally agree with that.
You've got karma.
And a couple of our knights are Chris Slewinski and Sir Jason Burke from Sherwood Park, Alberta,
nice.
The rich town,
yep.
and Richmond, Texas, right up by you, $50 each, and that'll conclude our
broadcast day.
Our broadcast day.
And we thank Hero Protagonist for doing the art once again for episode 443 and for everyone who checked in for episode 444. Keep it going for us. We need to continue A lot more of the smaller donations would be highly appreciated because you can tell I was a little bit short today on that. But luckily we had our aunts tonight and a couple other nights checking in. So thank you so much. Just to program your brain one more time.
Dvorak.org/NA. It's your birthday. On no agenda.
All right, here we go. Catherine Adams congratulates her boyfriend, Jordan Cada. Paul Boyer congratulates the U.S. Constitution, turning 225 years tomorrow on the 17th. And Lucas Ziva congratulates his girlfriend, Jana. She turns 33 today. Happy birthday from all your buddies here at the best podcast in the universe.
It's your birthday, yeah.
And then we have 3 nightings to do. It's been a while since we've had that. That's good.
Yeah. Here we go.
Yeah, you got it? No, I'll get mine. Hold on a second. There you go. There we go. Robert Rock, David Hoos, please send your son Noah forward. And El Yoho! Gentlemen, the 3 of you have entered a very specific club, very special, thanks to donations in the amount of $1,000 or more. In Robert Rock's case, a special 12-12 night. I hereby pronounce all 3 of you Knights of the No Agenda Roundtable, Sir Robert, Sir Noah, and Sir El Yoho! Congratulations, gentlemen. Here is your hookers and blow, your rent boys and Chardonnay, your hot pants and booze, or your wenches and beer, as you prefer. Thank you so much. It is appreciated because this is our value for value model. We do not have any commercials. We're not sponsored by anyone in any manner whatsoever, only by you, the listener. For if you do not like it, then we don't get paid, and then we stay on the true and narrow. That's the system kind of works. You are automatically steering us in the direction that you want the show to go. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, they are we're the customers to them. Not like your normal publication or podcast where you, the listener, are. We should remind people of this. We don't do it enough.
No, we don't. And that's why donations go down when we forget to remind people.
We forget to remind people of all the reasons they should be donating. And one of them is that in a conventional special interest publication, the actual product is the reader, or in the case of a podcast, it's the listener. You are the product to those people and then you're bundled as a product and sold as a product to the advertisers.
Right.
And that's the traditional media model.
Yes.
Now we think that's essentially in many ways, not in all situations, but for the most part, when it comes to covering deep news analysis, where you cannot afford to have any corruption built into the system, and that is totally a corrupt system. All you have to do is watch and see who the advertisers are on PBS, and you can see where that you're not going to see any negative ads about any of them.
By the way,
negative coverage.
Advertising at all on PBS or on NPR, our national treasure. The model is corrupt by definition now.
Yes, it's totally corrupt. And so we do not allow any of that to sneak into our methodology. We have no subtext whatsoever. I mean, when we do play ads to ridicule.
Yes,
which you could never do.
No,
Can you imagine any of these networks taking those crummy drug ads?
No,
and
never
mocking them.
Do you have one?
No, not today. But I do have a couple of ads that are worth mocking.
Okay,
I have to say that Ford.
Yeah, Ford
they had this show on called Give Me the Gig Ford.
What is this show? What is this show?
Series.
What is this show? Is it a reality show?
The Gig Ford. It's to get a job working for the Ford Fusion rollout or something, which I think is pretty close to happening. And
is this a hybrid thing?
I think. Yeah, I think there's the Fusion Hybrid is one of them. But whatever, it's beside the point. Yeah. Here's an example of how you embed ads. First, the name of the show has got the...
It's called The Ford Show is what it's called, basically.
Ford Show.
Right.
Play the Ford... unfortunately, I have it spelled wrong here, but it's actually...
I got it. You ready?
Yeah, hit it.
Now that all 4 artists have performed, Don, Krish, and Tom must choose who will be invited back to record with the state-of-the-art Ford Focus studio.
Yeah, that's where I hear Diddy is going to record in the Ford Focus studio next week.
Ford Focus, not
Sheryl Crow is... Now, I want to say something about cars for a moment. You know that by 2015, every vehicle, new vehicle that is produced will have to have a mile per gallon efficiency of, I think it's 52 miles per gallon.
Or 52 or 55, I can't remember. One of the two.
And so, and of course, if Romney is elected president, they'll kill this.
Yes, that's the only good thing about Romney.
But here's what I've told Mickey, because I've been seeing this ad. Have you seen? This is the car I'm going to have to get, because first of all, it's affordable. It's the Kia Soul. Have you seen it? So I love this car. But first,
hold on before you go. Okay, I have a counter. I'm gonna talk you out of it, but keep going.
Okay. So first of all, I love the commercial with the. It's like you're on acid, and the mice are doing a concert with like classical music, and he rips off his head, and he's a mouse, and he gets in the car, and then he's like, and it's like stars and stuff, and the car, it's great. It's a box. It has, I think, 3 cylinders.
It's a stylish box.
The speakers have green lights. It has a GPS, and I'm telling Mickey, if Obama is reelected, go ahead. You drive your 1999 Range Rover. You're going to get arrested. People will throw rocks at you because you're a big, evil, ungreen girl. And I'm going to be Mr. Acid, mouse on acid. I'm going to be driving in the little box. It's $14,000. So I think that's $60 a month. I think that is about the car.
That's about right.
That is the car. 36 months. That is the car that I can afford. And I am telling you, this is what, if Obama is reelected, I am going to be driving this, because I don't want to wait for people to shoot at me because I'm driving a big truck and I'm not green and I'm evil. Now, you're going to talk me out of this car?
So I wouldn't even worry about that. But let me give you my stories. First, so my wife, I think she got, for some reason, rented a car or something. She got one of these things, and she's
the Soul, the Kia Soul.
The Soul, and so she's raving about it, and
it's an awesome car, absolutely.
So I
don't say no.
I think she just drove it for a day. I don't know what she did. Or she just looked at it, or she likes the car.
Yes.
Like, she sounds like you, actually.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, so I'm up in Washington, so I decided to rent one.
You rented a Kia Soul?
Yes.
I'm jealous.
Because she was so into this car.
Okay.
This car is a piece of crap.
Oh.
It is a tin can. It's uncomfortable. You at your height, you are going to die in this car. You will not like it. I thought the car is cool looking. It's a cool looking little runabout. I'd say that's true.
Yeah.
But it's got no padding in the seats. It's like your butt hits the bottom of the thing right away. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is no good, this car.
It has 1,500
And by the way,
cc's.
the other day I was somewhere and I rented I can't remember, I was in L.A.
Yeah.
And I rented I've always had an eye on this thing too, because Kia is owned by Hyundai, and Hyundai's.
I thought Kia was Ford, actually.
Kia is owned by Hyundai.
Oh, okay. All right.
Kia is owned by Hyundai.
Hey,
anyway,
wait a minute. Its mile per gallon isn't it only going to be 35 miles per gallon?
On what, the Kia Soul?
Yes.
Yeah, you get better. Ford Focus is your best.
It's not even it won't even qualify.
Let me finish my story. So I rented the Hyundai Sonata, or that really is their high end. It's their new super good. I mean, I think it's one of the best looking cars on the road. It's a big, giant, beautiful car with a 2-cylinder engine or something. It's like 4. I don't know what the engine is, but it's a gutless wonder. I mean, talking about gutless wonders, you punch it and you wait. You could you hit the stopwatch button and wait. And it also chokes every once in a while when you punch it, which is I don't like. I like responsiveness to my cars. And these Korean cars just don't cut it. Sorry. If you're going to buy a puddle jumper, get a Toyota or a Ford or something else.
Well, I wanted the crazy mice on acid.
But, don't even think about that car.
Well, seeing as it only gets 35,
and by the way, because we're not
it.
sponsored by a bunch of advertisers we have to worry about, I don't mind saying what I think about these cars. I don't like them.
No, that's great. I can't wait to hear you do Twit today, because I think you're hosting the show, and you'll have to read the Ford ad. That's going to be awesome.
Nope. The ads are all pre-done by Leo. Oh. Part of the deal.
You should just mention this little factoid, though, right after that.
That what about? I don't like the Kia.
No. Okay.
Yeah, they would probably like that. Yeah.
So I got a piece of legislation here that I've been looking at, And now, I don't know if I mentioned this because I think for 3 weeks I've had in the show notes that there's this rumor been going around that the White House, the president specifically, would come out with an executive order about cybersecurity because they can't pass a bill. And there's a lot of money involved in this cybersecurity stuff. And we have the Lieberman bill, which, then and part of McCain is in there. There's all these douchebags. We've played many, many clips of these total nincompoops who know nothing about cyber whatever. And it's just more control. The private companies get to share your information. So it's been struck down. And so we've been hearing, there's been rumors that there would be an executive order for cybersecurity. Have you heard of this rumor, John?
I think we mentioned the rumor last show.
So we did mention it. Good. So I have what is now being passed around as a draft of the PPD, the presidential directive, of said order. So this is not an executive order yet, but it looks like this is what the executive order would be. I thought maybe we should review a few things.
Wow.
Wow.
A draft. You've gone deeper than I can imagine. You actually have the draft but not the executive order.
No, it's the draft. It says pre-decisional draft, CIP PPD.
Where'd you get that?
I think, well, this is out there. This came out on the net 2 days ago.
It's obviously out there just to get public comment. Okay.
Yeah, probably. I mean, but it's out there. It's version 7 of the draft. Critical infrastructure protection. Purpose of this executive order: to strengthen and maintain secure, functioning, and resilient critical infrastructure by updating United States policy to promote a national unity of effort for critical infrastructure protection. That right off the bat to me is like, whoa, that's some New World Order crap. Unity of effort. Federal government has a responsibility to protect its own critical infrastructure and mission essential functions and to organize itself to enable effective partnerships with and add value to the protection and resilience efforts. Remember, there's that resolve and resilience of critical infrastructure owners and operators. And that's okay because it talks here about the policy identifying the energy sector as uniquely critical. But here's the problem. This executive order also says that it identifies the communications sector as uniquely critical with key dependencies that cut across all other critical infrastructure sectors. So they want to have this directive, this policy, this executive order pertain to the communication sector. What in your mind is the communication sector?
AT&T, the backbone. I don't know.
Oh, the internet, maybe. It's everything.
Yeah, the internet backbone.
It's just everything.
Yeah, everything. The phone system. Everything, but everything, including radio.
So they will develop and implement an information exchange framework. So that's where your information will be exchanged and shared. And here's who thinks is going to to do all this. What outfit would you give? Would you give your sensitive data and protection of your cyber infrastructure to?
Well, I would think you'd give it to Janet Napolitano.
Exactly. Hey. Exactly. The Secretary of Homeland Security shall serve as the strategic coordinator for the national effort to enhance the protection and resilience.
He hasn't got enough to do.
Of the critical infrastructure of the United States. And this, of course, is pursuant to the Homeland Security Act 2002 for the Secretary of Homeland Security. She gets to do everything. This role includes coordination, John, with sector-specific agencies, which apparently don't exist yet, but they will exist.
We need to hire more people.
That's right. It will be the Secretary's responsibility to establish metrics to evaluate progress toward reducing known and emerging vulnerabilities. That's stuff that doesn't exist. Including a feedback mechanism to foster federal accountability. Sure you will. So it's essentially, I got 2 more things here. The Department of Defense is responsible for planning, coordinating, integrating, synchronizing, and directing activities to operate and defend the Department of Defense critical infrastructure and information networks, including the Federal Bureau of Investigation, will play a critical role in reducing domestic terrorist threats and by law investigating and prosecuting actual or attempted terrorist or criminal attacks or sabotage. Pre-crime.
Pre-crime.
Total frickin' pre-crime.
Before it's a crime, it's pre-crime.
Department of Homeland Security will engage private sector, research, academic, and government organizations to improve supply chain security for technology and tools related to cyber-based systems. Cyber. Cyber.
What is a cyber-based system?
I think I'm sitting on one right now. In addition to information security policies, directives, standards, and guidelines for safeguarding national security systems, it shall be overseen as directed by the President in accordance with that direction, carried out under the authority of the heads of the agencies that operate or exercise authority over such national security systems. I.e., total, open-ended, vague language to give Janet Napolitano, Lucy, free reign over everything. So, yeah, I agree with you. This was definitely leaked to see how it would come back because, is anyone going to do anything about this, or are we just going to let this slide? I mean, if it's an executive order,
let's let it slide. The X Factor's back on. And,
by the way, the voice
here comes Honey Boo Boo. It's really funny.
The voice is so much better than the X Factor. Hey, but did you hear who the judges are on American Idol?
They put new people in.
Yeah.
I guess they fired a couple. I guess Howard Stern is out.
No, he's not on American Idol. He's on America's Got Talent.
Oh. How can I make that mistake?
Yeah. It's amazing, isn't it? Just carry on and be a freaking zombie.
The X Factor, The Voice, America's Got Talent, anyone can dance, you can dance, Dancing with the Stars. I mean, give me a break. What is wrong with this country?
Let's have a look and see what's happening with Spain and Portugal.
Hundreds of thousands of Spaniards from all walks of life are due to gather in the capital Madrid in a mass march against government austerity measures. Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy continues to deny that his country will request a full-blown bailout as he prepares a further round of budget cuts.
Budget cuts.
Budget. If there's a massive response to our call to march from the Spanish people, which is what I hope, we will demand a referendum on these austerity measures and cuts. That way we can avoid being ruled by the markets. Madrid is under real pressure to help its faltering regions and avoid civil disorder. Further falls in house prices are adding to the insecurity. Neighbours Portugal are in similar straits, and anti-austerity protests have taken place in Porto, and more are due in the capital Lisbon and 25 towns and cities across the country over the weekend.
So this was a report about kind of as it was starting to go. In Portugal alone, I heard over 600,000 people were on the streets. And what's interesting is this is organized by the labor unions. This is not the populists. This is the labor unions who are, it's such a mess right now. It is such a mess in Europe. And remember, just 3 days ago, we played the clips of Barroso saying, we're going to integrate, we're going to, pool everything all together, and, it'll take a little bit of time, but we have to have a new treaty. Man, they didn't wait 48 hours. And here's the issues paper on completing the economic and monetary union. This has now been put on the table by Heiko Herman van Rompuy. And I read from the document, point 1, an integrated financial framework. The single supervisory mechanism should be established for banks in the euro area by the end of 2012. Following this, the ESM could have the possibility to recapitalize banks directly. I just want to explain for you Europeans that this means that it's going to happen, clearly. Europeans is that your tax money will go directly into commercial banks. Okay? Just want you to
Sounds like a good idea.
Sounds like a group. It sounds good. Point 2, towards an integrated budgetary framework. Strengthening democratic legitimacy and accountability. Listen to the words that my voice speaketh. strengthening democratic legitimacy and accountability. And let me read from this. Moving towards more pooling of sovereignty. Pooling of sovereignty. That is a contradiction in terms.
It's classic.
Stronger decision-making power at the European level and democratic accountability will reinforce each other. Let me just run that by you again.
What does that even mean?
This is essential to build public support for the European-wide decisions, you see. Stronger decision-making power at the European level, i.e., by pooling your sovereignty, giving up your rule of law to the European level, and giving democratic accountability, which is, I don't even know what that means, to the European Starfleet Command, will reinforce you being squashed like a bug and pooped on. That's my interpretation. And then
I think that's accurate. That's an accurate interpretation.
For me to poop on you. So for everyone who voted in the Netherlands for your pro-European government, you get the government you deserve. You really do. And enjoy that. I'm not saying ours is any better, but enjoy that. I remember, man, I was there when they got the whole Euro thing. Everybody was like, we don't have to change money at the border.
So I got my now here's the Farage clip I had. This is the one with the skinny guy.
Yes, skinny guy.
Excoriating Farage for being a douchebag.
And
then
is this?
Farage just blasting him back.
Oh, yeah. Okay, gotcha. All right. This is Nigel Farage of the UK Independent Party in the European Parliament. He is a president. He's on the Starfleet Command side. He's on the dais these days, so he's just shows you.
When I was a young member, a long time ago, of course, some people learnt then to listen, but it's getting a bit boring. For the last decade, you've been telling us how awful, how monstrous everything is here, and there's going to be doom tomorrow. The disasters are going to come to us from all sides. And what's happening? I'm not afraid of tomorrow morning. Some people perhaps believe you. Some of the older people perhaps believe what you're saying, but I don't. Think about something new. Say something new. Say something different.
Well, I think the point about listening is a very good one. Very good one. You should have listened when the French people voted no to the European Constitution, but you chose to ignore them. You should have listened when the Dutch, by a massive majority of 2-1, said no to the Constitution, but you didn't. You rebranded it as the Lisbon Treaty without conceding a single power. You bulldozed it through, and here this morning we hear talk of a new treaty and a new constitution. And when Little Ireland not once but twice dares to vote no in a referendum on European integration, you don't listen, you bully them and make them vote again. You're the one, sir, who's not listening.
Thank you.
Thank you. So of course you will not get to vote at all, and you're pooling your sovereignty towards Brussels and Strasbourg, so you won't get to vote at all on any of these issues. And let me read to you from a wonderful financial paper that I was sent by one of our producers. It goes back to Greece, and you can cross it off on the Red Book. Greek Troika official. So the Troika official is someone who's a Nazi, essentially, from the Starfleet Command, who has come in. The Troika being the IMF, the European Commission, and the European Central Bank, who are...
the third one's the Council, isn't it?
A Council, I'm sorry. Commission or Council?
Council,
I think you're right, Council. So he's a Troika member. Troika. Doesn't it... I hope he has an armband and has a hat.
They need armbands in the EU.
Yeah, I think he has
those stars.
I hope...
a little circle of stars.
Let's just Google that. Do we have... What is a Troika official? Troika official uniform. Let me just see. Uniform. I bet you they have a uniform.
They should. Make a huge mistake if they don't.
There's lots of pictures of Angela Merkel. So maybe you just have a Merkel mask on. That is your official Troika uniform. European Commission official Matthias Moss said this is German, go figure, said the so-called Troika of inspectors from the Euro area, European Central Bank, and the International Monetary Fund had a constructive meeting today with Greek Finance Ministry officials in Athens. Greece's Hellenic Republic Asset Development Fund has identified 40 islands and islets that will be leased for as long as 50 years to reduce debt as pressure grows on the country to revive an asset sale plan key to receiving international aid. 50 years, 40 islands.
Well, we already predicted that.
That's what I'm saying, but here
They're
it is.
going after the islands.
Here it is. And
there's 50 of them, so there must be 50 guys
40,
in the EU
40,
Council.
40 islands, but they get them for 50.
40 islands. Okay, so there's 40 people that get the islands.
You get them
well,
for
actually,
50
there are probably
years.
some big shots. I mean, let's face it, Soros is going to get an island.
Oh, yeah. And an islet, because it's island and islets. Is that an islet? What an islet? An islet?
It's like a small hole you put a string through.
What? What is an islet? Hold on. Islet.
It's an islet. It's an islet. It's a small island.
An islet is a very small island.
Yeah, that's for this. I don't know. As long as there's some house on there or something. As long as they got a septic.
It's a sandbar. A sandbar.
Sandbar.
Sandbar. Hey, that's probably our size, man. We can go get us a sandbar in Greece. I mean, does anyone else see how crazy this is? Yeah, but you can take it out of the book.
Yeah, no, we had it in the book. I know that.
We had it in the book.
They're going to be selling the islands, I thought they'd just be selling them outright, but I guess the lease is.
It's probably better. It's probably better because you can just go and up it. You can just up the lease.
Yeah.
And I got some. And what else you got? I got some stuff I want to talk about, but maybe you have something that you wanted to get off your chest.
Well, I do have, as a lighter note, I do have the stupid TV clip of the week.
Ooh, nice. Should we play it?
Yeah.
They parked the car on a hillside, and it was too steep to put up the tent, so they slept under the stars. Such determination and such drive. That's to be rewarded, and they should be proud of what they did.
That must have been from that Honey Boo Boo show.
I don't even know where that clip is from.
So much
Here's
determination.
another one. Here's a. You didn't like that? Try this.
No, you're going to kill me with more?
Well, just saying, this is one of the contestants in the Ford Focus Studios Give Me a Gig Ford, and it's Sue, which I think has got a lot of thematic uses.
The judges, what do you say? Oh, we're sorry. We have to kill you. That will be my reality show.
That would be a good idea. All right, I'm sorry. Okay, one more. Got one more. This is the reason I like to watch Democracy Now, and this is the famous go to the video segment of Democracy Now and how they handle this, how slick this operation is.
What is go to the video segment? I don't understand. What is this segment?
You say, hey, Adam, we're going to go to the video.
Oh, we're going to go to the video.
Yeah, they're going to go to the video.
Ready?
But this force is something to be reckoned with.
Just so I want to play a short comment from Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel about the teachers' call for a fair contract. I'll play that in a moment, but why don't you introduce it by talking about the significance of Rahm Emanuel, the former chief of staff of President Obama.
Wow, that really blew chunks.
That was great.
So now there's a teacher strike, a massive teacher strike in Arnie Duncan's neck of the woods in Chicago because there are a bunch of douchebags.
They make $74,000 a year on average, I think, these teachers.
Well, that's not what the real issue is, though. That's what they're trying to portray. It's just a money grab.
No, the issue is that they're going to be paid according to how good they do, how well they do.
They don't. See, the thing is all this. It's just the whole thing is a bunch of bullcrap. I think the best I have is a clip from a girl from the school called Social Justice High, who I actually think nails it. They're putting their own stooges in to these different schools. Chicago's corrupt. Let's face it. And apparently the students and the teachers and everybody in between and the parents are just annoyed what they're trying to do to the schools, which is essentially shut down most of them, put them on the charter school thing, privatize a lot of it. It's just a corrupt system.
It's all about the charter school. It's all about privatizing education so people can make money.
And so here's the girl at Social Justice High, which is just one of the girls going to the school. It's a Latino school. And she's bitching about what they've done because they had a bunch of AP classes, which helps people get into college.
What's AP?
And they took them out.
What's an AP class?
Advanced placement.
Right away, the new principal, Ms. Velasquez, she took away 3 of our AP classes, and she pretty much messed up our whole schedule. She put in remedial classes, and pretty much that's an insult. That's saying we're not smart enough. We don't need to belong in those AP classes. We're stupid. And so right off the bat, I feel that her choices not only reflected her personal decisions, because she tried, of course, to rationale with us, oh, look at the test scores, they're doing pretty bad. And when we would point out to her saying, we have a positive trend in the test scores, we've actually increased in AP enrollment, we've increased in AP passings in general. And also it relates because her decisions to destabilize the school are not only on her behalf, but it's pretty much she's listening to her superiors.
That's Rocio Mesa, student at Social Justice High School. Jessel, as we wrap up.
Now, she was very astute. She was talking about destabilizing the school. I'd say she was schooled herself in PR.
Oh, yeah. She's a high school kid, though. Yeah. And it's like, I was listening to this whole report on all the crap going on in Chicago. I'm saying and the weird thing about listening to it on Democracy Now!, they refuse to just, say, look, this is a corrupt administration we have run by Rahm Emanuel Advo. They'll mention that he worked for Obama, but these guys are just Obama bots. At the end of the day, they're still Obama bots, and they can't see through the forest through the trees. And it's just like, it's depressing. It's like I've seen people do this and said, well, this is terrible what's going on, but it can't be the boss's fault.
No. I got to tell you,
it's terrible. Well, whose fault is it? Well, I don't know whose fault it is, but it's terrible. I mean, it's just like really, it's just galling. Anyway.
I will agree that this is probably. I haven't looked into it that much, but it sounds to me like indeed this is about turning everything into a charter school, which in effect is just another part of the government money teat that people just want to suck on, right? Because you set up it's a for-profit school, correct?
Well, it's more than that. I mean, it's not necessarily. It's different. It's not just a for-profit. It's not really. That's not what the real goal of charter schools is. It's a way to marginalize people in the education system and create a brainwashing system that's a little more advanced than the one we currently have. Right. It's really what it's all about.
So interesting.
And you get to lord it. You'd say, for example, you have the charter schools get to cherry pick. They'll go into the school and they take all the best students and let the other students take all the good students out of one of the schools and make a charter school and put all the good students into it and let the other schools sink.
Yeah, poop on them.
And that's part of the thing. I have a special. I'm going to do a package on this eventually.
Oh, please, right. Another promise at the end of another fine episode of No Agenda. Another promise for the Scholastic package. Let me ask you a question. Someone sent me an article a while back, and I'm just kind of paraphrasing this, that the entire idea of school was derived from like a German Schule, which would make sense for the etymology of the word, but that Schule initially always was set up as a brainwashing facility. That schools, historically speaking, were not, universities maybe differently, but the idea of throwing kids into a Schule was to indoctrinate them with all kinds of propaganda. Is there any, does that ring true to you at all?
It's the socialized kids, yeah.
But the Americans specifically?
I think it's only recently that the propaganda thing has been increased to such an extreme.
Well, that's not true. I mean, even... Come on. I mean, the whole I pledge allegiance to the flag, even it's a nationalistic propaganda.
That showed up, I think, in the 50s.
Right. Right. So
Well, that's recently.
After the Second World War. This is kind of where I'm going. So
I mean, we never used to have. You never used to go to a Yankees. You didn't go to the 27 to watch the 27 Yankees, and then and there would be the national anthem, and then a flyover.
The flyovers are killing me. Wow, flyover.
And so, I mean, that never happened before. I mean, it's only been recent that we've had all these sorts of things. I mean, why does a sporting event become a military event?
Well, no, I think sporting events have always been a militaristic replacement.
No, this is only since World War II.
No,
they never were before World War I.
Bear with me. Of course, this is the new propaganda. We have to keep men particularly busy and rooting for a team, and we can't have you getting all, men have testosterone. They want to go out and beat someone up, join a gang, go, I don't know, attack the government. So instead, we give you all kinds of candy and great, beautiful graphics, and we give you a team to root for and a beautiful stadium to go to. No, I think that's bread and games. This is that, all sporting to me, professional sports is all about keeping slaves happy and docile. And we'll serve you beer at the game, too. You can't say that there's not an element of that.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to argue that.
Okay.
But that's not the same as militaristic.
Well, you look at football by itself, and that is a very militaristic game. And Bibi Netanyahu himself talks about the red zone, the 20-yard line.
What I'm saying is that it's not associated with the U.S. Army. Yeah, it's a militaristic game, the football game itself, because it's a war.
Excuse me, we have the big Thanksgiving Army
trenches and the battle,
the big Thanksgiving Army Navy game,
goal, and the rest of it. But it's not like the U.S. Army is associated with professional football.
Yes, it is.
Until recently.
No, that's incorrect. I remember Thanksgiving. The big thing was on Thanksgiving. It's the Army Navy game. As a kid, I was 5 years old, so this is 40 years of this. That was the big thing. You were Army or Navy.
Yeah, it's all been since World War II.
Yes, yeah, thank you. My point is made.
I'm saying it never was like that before World War I.
Yeah, well, okay, just because you can remember that doesn't make my point wrong.
When I was a kid, we used a rock for a football and a stick.
So here's something that you and I will both be able to complain about in the future, because of course we've been keeping our eye on the war on cash for quite a while now. And in Finland, the Ministry of Employment and the Economy is going to mandatorize, in other words, make mandatory that all businesses, especially small businesses, have to hand out a receipt with a copy for anything. So if you got a lemonade stand, you got to hand out receipts because you have to show receipts for all of your sales. This bill is expected to come up for the legislature early in the next year. But Greece, I kind of missed this one. They have now connected all shops and companies' cash registers directly with the finance ministry's TaxisNet electronic system. This is happening now as we speak. So the VAT, so here's how you have value-added tax. And typically how it works, you sell a candy bar to some slave who wants the aspartame, and then you take $1 and you add 19 cents, or I think it's actually 25 cents now in Greece, 25 cents additional tax. And then at the end of the month, you have to take all those 25 cents and you have to send it off to the government. That's the VAT. Now,
wait a minute. Are you telling me that if I want to buy a $1 candy bar, for the privilege of buying this candy bar, I have to give the government 25 cents for the privilege of buying a $1 candy bar?
In Greece, you do.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Tribute? Is it, as they call it? Why is it a tax? It should be called a tribute. A tribute to the emperor.
How about a tithe? A tribute to the emperor.
It's a tribute. It's a tribute to the emperor.
Okay, so call it a tribute, whatever you want. But now, now what they're doing is you put the money in the cash register, the $1.25, and immediately the cash register through the new Taxis Net electronic system, deducts 25 cents from the shop's bank account, sends it right to the Ministry of Finance.
Even before it gets deposited?
Yeah.
These guys are going to get overdrawn by these crooks.
I just love it. And then I love then watching, this iPhone 5 came out and everyone's like, man, I'm so bummed. They didn't have any near field communications, man. We can't have our e-wallet stuff. Like, dude, people run away from the e-wallet stuff. Run away from this. This is not. I know.
Pounding the pavement about how bad this idea is for a decade.
I saw you
and
write an
people still
article.
think it's cool.
Yeah. So let me just wind it up with some. There's I don't know if you've heard this term, the Bernanke. Have you heard the Bernanke? And and this cracks me up. So we have this quantitative easing, QE3 as it is known. And Ben Bernanke did his, actually he went a little further, I feel, than normal on his question and answer session. But then there's this, what is that thing called? They have this like a cartoon generator and you can enter a script and then these two characters talk to each other. You've seen this a million times.
Now tell me again.
Well, I'll play it for you. Here's the two characters. You enter a script, you upload it into some generator, and then these two like kind of weird cartoonish characters looking like bears or whatever, they have a conversation with each other. It's kind of animated. When you hear the voices, you'll recognize it. You'll say, "Oh yeah, that." But
you're talking about the bear and bull thing from those guys, the stock market guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Except now,
I don't know why I can't remember the name.
I can't remember.
Minionville.
Yes. So they did a script on explaining quantitative easing, and I got 30 seconds of it because for some reason they decided to call Ben Bernanke the Bernanke. And it's just funny. And I just want you to hear it, and then we want to listen to the Bernanke.
Owns the Fed.
The Fed is run by the Ben Bernanke.
Does the Ben Bernanke have a lot of business experience?
No, the Ben Bernanke has no business experience.
Does the Ben Bernanke have a lot of policy experience?
No, the Ben Bernanke has no policy experience.
Has the Ben Bernanke ever run in an election?
No, the Ben Bernanke has never run in an election.
So what qualifies him to run the Fed?
I don't know, maybe the fact that he has a nice beard.
But my plumber also has a nice beard, and I would not trust him to play God with the economy.
No, although when you call the plumber to fix something that is broken, they usually fix it, not break it more.
So I just love the Ben Bernanke. I know, that tickles me for some reason.
Yeah.
I guess you don't like it.
It sounds like Doug.
It does. It's the Ben Bernanke. So here's the Ben Bernanke. And I just wanted to, whenever the politicians talk about revenue, that's code for tax. And there's a new word out there. You know the new code for spending money? Do you know what that is?
Spending money is asset reallocation.
No, it's better.
Well, the ultimate effect is going to depend, of course, on how much we end up doing, and that in turn is going to depend on what the economy does. So this is a conditional program. We're going to be providing accommodation according to how the economy evolves.
Accommodation, John. It's accommodation. Accommodation according to how the economy evolves. I just love accommodation. And how long is this accommodation going to last? Well, until the economy looks better. So how are we going to do with the jobs, the Ben Bernanke?
That's not the objective. The idea is to make sure we provide enough support so the economy will grow fast enough to bring unemployment down over time. I mean, as we look back at the last 6 months or so, we've seen unemployment basically the same place it was in January.
Oh.
We've seen not enough jobs growth to bring down the unemployment rate. And what we need to see is more progress, and that's what we'll be looking at. In terms of the mid-2015 date, we think by that point that the economy will be recovering, will be providing the support it needs. But if you look at our projections, you'll see it doesn't involve any inflation, that we still believe that inflation is going to be close to our 2% target.
So essentially, no jobs until 2015? Is that what I heard him say?
Yeah, probably what he said.
Yeah.
No jobs. We got no jobs ahead. How are we going to have jobs?
Well, here's Bernanke, the Ben Bernanke, actually debunking the entire lie of the jobs numbers that the Obama administration is jumping up and down about, like, unemployment went down.
Gordon with the Associated Press. One of the aspects we've seen in recent reports on unemployment is the shrinking labor force. Is that something that's of specific concern to you, and what does it tell us about the labor market and the economy?
Well, you're absolutely right. And as I mentioned earlier, the unemployment decline last month was more than 100% accounted for by declines in participation.
More than 100%? How is this possible? Is this guy an economist? Well,
what he meant was the numbers. In other words, what he was trying to say was that it's worse.
Yeah.
Than it was presented.
Yeah.
So, in other words, it was the decline in participation was actually worse.
Yeah. Thank you. Because more people are dead or don't give a crap anymore. Are just homeless.
They've given up. They're now begging for money on the corners of the freeway entrances.
They're just laying around. All righty. I think that does it for me. Except for that Halliburton radioactive device they lost in Texas.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good to know.
Yeah.
I have one little thing I wanted to do, which was just play this clip, which it's called the Shelley Adelson BS, and it comes from Democracy Now! And it's one of those things that, can you do the math on this? I'd like to know, I'm going to ask you a question. This will be like an Ask Adam, but it's not Ask Adam.
All right.
When this little clip is over, I want to ask you something.
A new report shows the billionaire casino mogul and top Republican donor Sheldon Adelson stands to reap a massive tax windfall should Mitt Romney win the presidential election. According to the Center for American Progress, Romney's policies would save Adelson more than $2 billion in taxes.
Okay.
$2 billion in taxes? What is his tax bill? Are you telling me that he's paying over $2 billion now in taxes because he's going to save $2 billion in taxes?
Well,
what kind of income does this guy have?
Well, I would presume
this is bull crap. He's not paying $2 billion in taxes.
Well, let's just do the numbers. Hello, is this an Ask Adam, or is this just a yell at Adam's face?
It's yell at Adam's. Ask him.
Okay. Okay. So let's presume that Shelley Adelson has a typical tax rate of, what should we call it, 20%?
Oh, probably 20%. Let's say 25 for easy.
25. Well, 20 is easier for me because $2 billion would be 20%, which would mean that his income,
his taxable income,
would have been what?
Well, times 5, it'd be $10 billion.
$10 billion. Maybe he makes $10 billion
every year. So every year he's making $10 billion in taxable income.
No. It's $10 billion in tips. That's just what he finds.
Oh, that's what it is.
He does what
it's tip income.
That's just what he finds behind the couch. He also owns the biggest newspaper in Israel, I'm reliably informed.
That's not making him any money. That's a money loser.
Of course, it's losing money. Of course. It's tips. I'm telling you. It's what his hookers get tucked in their underwear. That alone is $10 billion for Shelley Adelson. You don't believe me?
I actually believe it.
All right. Hey, Johnny boy. It's good talking to you as always, man. I do enjoy it.
Always a pleasure.
I love you, man.
Always enlightening. You won today's show with all that stuff at the beginning.
It was fun.
I think you got some good clips. You got all the bull crap that was out there that the public loves from us. That shows that they're being lied to left and right. It's kind of depressing, but we look at it from a positive perspective. And when you watch these other shows, like Glenn Beck's now on the air, and all they do is sell food and tell you to hide in a hole, and we don't do that because. If you actually listen to these news stories, if somebody wanted to get you, you can hide in a hole all you want. It's not going to do you any good. It didn't save Saddam Hussein.
Nope.
So we don't try to sell you food.
Old food in packaged. And seeds.
And seeds? Yeah, we're selling you seeds.
Hey, everybody, buy a seed from...
Buy seeds from us.
Buy seeds.
You're going to need seeds. I don't think so.
Heirloom seeds. And a water filter, which I actually do have. That's not a bad idea. If you live in Austin, they fluoridate the water here. All right, everybody, buy some seeds and go to Dvorak.org/NA for your storable donation. And we'll be back Thursday. I will be in Chicago for the show, so that should be very interesting. But it'll be same time, same damn bat channel, coming to you from the capital of the Drone Star State here in Austin, Texas. In the morning, everybody. My name is Adam Curry.
And I hope while you're in Chicago, you check this this student strike out and talk to a few people.
Sure.
And from Northern Silicon Valley, I'm John C. Dvorak.
We'll be back on Thursday right here on No Agenda.
Dvorak.org/NA